boat, you're paying that is about $100,000 a year.
Yeah, just for the captain. You know? And then you've got fuel at $4 a gallon at, you know, a half a mile to the gallon. And I mean, you cruise over to the Bahamas. I mean, it's an expensive little game. You know, you're going to drop 400 or 500 gallons, you know, in a weekend. You know, so that's a couple grand in fuel you just dropped just for the weekend. You know, insurance is fucking stupid expensive. I mean, it's not a cheap sport at all. And if you're like me and you want to go fishing and you've got to have like
then you have all
the whole assortment of shit, I've got enough rods to line up right beside and be more than that whole wall length and stuff. And that's expensive. I mean, they're, you know, probably $1,000 a copy for everything on average for the big guns. You know, $100,000 boat. Like out here, up at our lake in Wyoming, if you want to drop 35, 40, maybe 50 grand, you can buy a really nice walleye boat.
For a cruiser there.
Not a cruiser, a fishing boat, a boat that you would use, because we
like
don't have cruisers
a fish ski.
Yeah. Down in Florida, that's just not acceptable to go out on the ocean. I mean, about the minimum size that you want to have is probably what we have, which is a 30-foot boat. And that's not a big boat. I mean, it sounds big by our standards until you get on it, you're in the big blue ocean.
Do you have a head stuff?
Yeah.
It's called the side of the boat.
Exactly. Left head and the right head. I do. We don't really use it that often. There's no need to.
Yeah.
But I do have it. It's, you know, for us, like there's limited places to store your boat indoors, and we're at one it's about $600 a month just to keep it down there.
But it's inside.
But it's inside on a rack. So that's nice.
When you go get it, do you pay for them to get it into the water?
No, at our marina, there's no charge for in and out. So you just call them and they plop it in with
That's pretty good.
The biggest forklift you've ever seen.
How often do they, I mean, is it like an hour it takes, or once you say, hey, I need this out, will they have it out in an hour?
Usually, unless it's like crazy busy or first thing in the morning, like there'll be 8 boats waiting, you know, the first of the morning for them to get it out. But if you're like during the week, or if you're calling at 8:30 or so, usually by the time I get there, it's already in the water. And I'm only like a quarter mile away.
Yeah, it's a decent one too.
And then you dock at that spot.
Yeah.
You can dock.
Felt tip, I prefer blue.
So yeah, it's nice. They have slips there, and you can leave it in the slips, or you can take it out every night. Like when we go down for lobster season, we tend to leave out of the marina about daybreak, so we'll put it in the night before, put it in a slip, and then we'll just go over there and read from the slip the next morning.
So you can actually, during lobster, you can actually pay for it during lobster season. You get enough lobsters.
Well,
pay for the boat.
No.
There'd be a lot of lobsters, bro.
I'm kidding you.
These are really expensive lobsters. I don't even want to do the math.
I can just want to go to Shanahan's and buy them.
Right. You come out a lot cheaper. You know?
What do they say? A boat? What do they say? There's a hole in the ocean.
To throw a little money in.
There you go.
The RV's not much different, man.
But keeping them in the salt waters, there's maintenance on that, right? And that's hard on you.
Yeah, but they're built for that.
Well, no, they're not. I mean, you have to put specialty coatings on boats that are going to stay in the salt water.
You do?
Yes, and it has to be changed out
It's
every
that
couple of years.
corrosive. God, you would think by now they would have something that would just you spray on once and you're done.
Stainless steel rust in that environment. Everything rust.
Galvanized.
Rust.
Even the zinc.
Yeah.
It's the closest to blue felt tip I could find.
Real close.
It really is amazing how corrosive it is. But yeah, they have these ablative coatings and stuff that they put on the, they call it bottom paint. And you have to change it out about every couple of years, every 2 or 3 years. But I don't store my boat in the water, so I don't have that issue.
Like Mark said, I think there's something out there that she doesn't want to be said.
Oh, so tell me what the old lady's deal was. What did she not want to sign or do? Or
Tell her.
She doesn't want to sign the form that says that they'll give us the information why they're booting her out of there. And she doesn't know. She says she hasn't got it either. And they said they would give it to her. So we kind of think.
But she says things off the top of her head, and then she thinks about it, and then I bet you by the end of the show she will.
No, I'm telling you, something's up. They sent us something saying, here, if she signs this, we'll tell you exactly why we're getting rid of her.
Right.
And here's how it reads. It's funny how it reads, John. Because
Oh, now you're reading that into it, yeah.
that's what I was reading into it. It says, it's short and sweet. Let me find this thing.
See, I was thinking it was just their,
I've attached a copy of the notice we're sending to her.
yeah, she says she absolutely will not sign it.
Well, then I would absolutely be done with her ass.
Well, we pretty much are. Where the hell?
Well,
It's like the attachment's not popping up.
Oh, do you have her folder?
it's right here.
Yeah, give them
I don't know what's in here. I don't know.
Let's get her to sign it. Yeah, but it's not in here.
yeah, it is.
What?
That letter?
Oh, that letter, okay.
I printed it out, but
You just put it in there?
Yeah, it is,
no, I
but
gave
I don't.
it to Suzanne.
Here it is, right here. Okay. Read how that. Tell me what you think.
Class, you will see why. Call soon though, as these free classes fill up fast and space is limited. Online Trading Academy. Reserve your free class at 303-547-3588.
I don't like the last line. It almost
Consequences of the release.
almost sounds intimidating. Like we're going to tell them. There's something there. There's some reason she won't sign this, but she just outright refuses to sign this. Do you read it? Do you think I'm reading too much into it, or that? It's very threatening in a way, isn't it?
It's a little bullyish, but what are the consequences of it? I mean, they're going to let something out that she's going to sue us for releasing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's kind of.
What's this?
CSP's Live, the Youth Academy.
Now, the best part is we get to participate in it and we get to see
I
their
don't
own
see
growth.
that.
And these
I
are
didn't get
incredible
that
youth,
letter.
let me tell you.
Mother, they'll show you this.
Learning, but they'll do a lot of classroom stuff as well.
I want to read it. There they are.
Our red and green teams. Say hello.
What's that?
All right, there's some enthusiasm.
She ran away.
Early in the morning. Right now, they're actually having a discussion, talking all about ethics, which I think a few of us could probably go down and learn a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's also some hands-on stuff that goes on.
See her?
Always love cops talking about ethics.
Yeah.
During the week, they're actually going to do things like test drive training.
I think, honestly, out of all the police, though, I think, at least I'd like to believe, State Patrol, they seem like pretty good guys in general. When I had the good years, because of the national contract, I got to know a lot of them. Compared to like the Castle Rock locals and Douglas County locals and other, State Patrol always seemed just a little more up and up. I don't know how else to put it. More almost military in a way, but in kind of a good way.
No, I don't think she got mad.
What's your opinion? Remember, we're on all the time.
I don't read it.
You know what I'm saying, though, or you don't perceive
I
it?
do. I think there are bad ones in all areas, and there are certainly bad troopers, and bad troopers have been found. They found troopers that were drunk going to work. You know, I mean,
That
they have
wasn't
all
that
the
long
same
ago.
issues that other agencies have. By and large, I think they're a little bit more selective about who they hire at the State Patrol.
They are.
And so I think you get a little higher class of people, you know?
They're truly paramilitary. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did that come from you?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's not a job I would wish on
That's
somebody.
what
You know,
Pulling people over. You know, I don't even like my daughter. She wanted to do this. She had to go down. She had an interview. She made the cut. This isn't something you pay for. She's 16. You got to be 16 because you learn how to drive the police car. You shoot. I mean, it's like mini boot camp. It's what I think the actual one is 4 or 6 months. It's condensed into this week. But literally, man, they have them up at 3:30 in the morning some days.
Right.
It's no joke. But I don't like her wanting to do that, man. I don't, because I just don't want her getting fucking killed. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
it's a dangerous job. I mean, on its best day, you're in the places that are the most dangerous, on the side of the freaking highway, in storms, and
Especially
wrecks and
nowadays.
stuff like that, you know?
If she, you know, the gravy gig would be the one where you're toting around the governor, you're flying around in his plane, you're working the football, the Broncos games. Those, they do have the gravy jobs, but those guys put their time in. Yeah, they're 20 years deep.
They got a few stripes on their sleeve before they.
They fly around, I guess the senators and the governor. I'm trying to think. They said yesterday who uses that plane. They got a nice plane. But they fly, I think it's just the governor and 2 senators. I don't know who else it would be. Maybe the representatives, but I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't read that line, but I hereby hold harmless city center apartments.
You know, I would have probably written something similar into that release if I had written it.
Yeah.
But it could be it could be interpreted a little bullyish, you know. It's a little.
Well, but they have.
Why won't she cite?
Yeah.
That's the whole key.
That's the key.
Even off the air, look, Doris, whatever your name is, you got to tell me what the hell the deal is here.
And she says no deal.
You know
then
what?
she's got to be boozing it up, or she's got to have a history of something that's not readily apparent.
I agree with you.
You know, when in our Bible study, we took on an elderly woman in a retirement home that didn't have any family. Nobody had taken care of her. Of course, it ended up being me. And the longer because everybody else dropped out, and we're like, we're not going to take care of her. She is mean.
Right.
Was she that mean?
She was crazy. Yeah. So like, she had a brand new bed, and she didn't like it. And I looked at it. There were no stains, nothing. It was brand new. And Stephanie needed one, and so I was like, okay. So we came to pick it up. She had sat on the edge of it and peed on it.
She what?
She peed on it.
On purpose?
And I said, this wasn't here. Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah, and then I got her a.
That's
she was
crazy.
Yeah, she was. No, it was a woman.
It was a woman.
I think that sometimes they just don't go right in their head. But what do? We said we're going to help her, and then now we're just going to drop her, and she's.
No, of course
how is she going to?
I've had clients that like. You know, they're just mad at the world.
Yeah.
They're just angry people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how you can go through your day being that pissed off at everybody, you know, before it just consumes you and takes over.
Well, it does. It's got to do something to you. But Doreen's not angry. Doreen's weak. But who knows? Maybe at night she gets drunk and gets angry. I don't know.
Well, so it sounds like those people either have told her why they're booting her out, and she's not willing to disclose that.
There's so many spots. I cannot fucking believe this.
I think
Look at these lies.
I'm going to go and try to call her after the show starts and see if I can get her to...
God, these feel weird like that.
Just tell you the truth. I mean, they have to have told her. They have to have told her. And she's just not sharing that with you, so... Well,
I've got the one gal, the vice president's phone number, and... I'm going to leave her a message and say, you know, we just need to...
This may be a record.
What?
Just make sure that she knows we're not going to keep it off the radio.
Not one person.
Right.
Plus my 4. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. You know what we do. We solve problems, answer questions. We take your complaints. We try to make your life a little bit better, and we get directly involved, unlike any other show in the world. Tommy Boy started this thing, my God, almost 40 years ago. Just here in Denver. He was doing stuff before there. But listen to this number. God, I'm so proud of this number. $200 million in cash, merchandise, exchanges, refund services is what this show's recovered. You've been ripped off, or you've been taken advantage of. I want to hear from you. When one of the lines drops off, of course that'll be an open line. I'll try to remember to tell you that. But the phone number's easy. In fact, here's the one you should remember, because it works on and off the air. 303-MARTINO. Simple as that. 303-MARTINO. When it's live, it comes right into here. When it's not live, you can leave a message, and one of the deputies will call you back. Today we have pretty much all hands on deck. We have Suzanne and Drew in the other room behind the glass. We have Deputy Dan, Deputy Daff, and in studio with me, an attorney that I've used before. Thank God it's not Lazara, because he would be the criminal guy. But no. John R. Fuller. How are you, John? It's good to see you, man. You look good, by the way.
Good, thanks. Glad to be here.
You know, John represented Suzanne and myself, I don't know, what, 18 months ago?
Something like that.
It was a while back, but we got T-boned and...
July 4th weekend when you guys got in your accident.
Yeah, it's almost been 2 years since our accident, Mark.
God, that's right. It was July 4th weekend. We went up to have brunch at the casinos, and then we headed back. I think we went on a hike up there. We headed back. We stopped at Sam's Club, and, of course, we loaded up with groceries. We leave Sam's Club, and, my God, that woman just came flying through a red light, T-boned us. Suzanne broke her nose, everything else, and then after the hospital and everything, I called John up, and, man, I learned a lot. That was the first real, you know, we've been in fender benders. That's the first time I have ever been in an accident with injuries. I mean, it was crazy, man. It was like, and if you've never been in an accident like that where another vehicle hits you at a high rate of speed, it's scary as hell, man. In fact, it's very hard to even really remember what happened. I didn't, like, black out or anything like that, but it happens so fast. It's incredible. You deal with that every day. Is there anything in common, John, people that have been in bad accidents, is there anything that they all have in common? Like, they didn't realize just how fast it happens? You must hear the same things all the time.
I think that's a pretty common thing. People, it takes a while for your brain to really process what the heck just happened.
Yep.
And so you're already 2 or 3 seconds into it before you're even starting to figure out what's going on. And so
jolting.
It's frightening, it's jolting, and then many times you don't really know. I was rear-ended one time, and I remember seeing the scenery outside my vehicle moving, and I couldn't figure out why it was moving when I was stopped, or at least as far as I knew I was stopped. And it's a very weird thing for your brain to process, and I think everybody's like that.
The other thing that was amazing was Suzanne. She was really injured. And, I mean, you know that. I mean, she's fine now, but she got hurt. Broken nose, just the whole bit. I don't even like revisiting it. But when it just happened and her adrenaline, and my adrenaline was kicking, adrenaline is a crazy thing because I didn't even realize, she didn't even know how bad she was for, like, literally 2 hours. We're finally at home. It was way more than 2 hours, actually. And it's like I'm taking pictures of her because that's something you say to always do. And when we go back and look at those pictures, it looks like Mike Tyson used her as a punching bag. I mean, that's how that airbag just, like, crushed her. It was crazy, man. Anyhow, I digress. Any comments you have on personal injury, though? John's here for you today. 303 Martino. Bill's got a comment on Doreen in the apartment complex. I'm going to give that update right now. It's very interesting. In fact, Deputy Dan, find a mic there. And, John, I'm going to ask you about this. So, the apartment complex, finally, these guys are kicking out this 73-year-old woman. She called in for help probably about 10 to 14 days ago, whenever it was. Deputy Dan and myself went out to visit her. A lot of times there's two sides to this. Why is she getting kicked out? According to her, she didn't sign the renewal on time, and now they want her gone. Well, we didn't know, so we go down, we visit her. Her place looks clean. I've been out to places like this before, John, and I got to tell you, hoarding is a real deal. I've walked into apartments in houses where people are getting evicted, and it's evident why they're getting evicted. Even if they're paying their rent on time, there's hoarding, or, of course, the other big one is they're not paying their rent on time.
Sure.
There's not much we can do if you have no money. But this particular case, and she was crying when she first called in, it was tearjerker. So Dan and I go out there, we meet her, her place is clean. Apparently she's always paid her rent on time. We walk over to the apartment complex and ask, is there anything that can be done to keep her here? They won't talk to us unless she comes. So we go all the way back, we get her up, we get her on her walker. Dan and I walk her all the way there. It's not that far, but when you're on a walker, it seems like forever. In fact, we have this on our Facebook page. You can watch Dan and I talking. So, here's the weird part. We bring her back, and she gives permission right then and there for us to talk. Right. And what did the woman say? What was her name?
Jackie.
So Jackie says, Jackie makes us go get her to get the permission for them to talk to us. We get all the way back with her, and what do they say, Dan? I got so pissed thinking about it.
The lawyer will send a letter.
Yeah, the lawyer will send us a letter, a written statement. So we went and got her for nothing. Literally, it's like in the time we were gone, they decided not to talk to us is what happened. So I'm thinking, okay, the only reason they don't want to talk to us is simply this. What are they going to say? My guess back then was this. They simply rented it out for more money, and they want her gone. You know, it's a business. I've never said they did anything, you know, illegal, at least not in my opinion. What I do think, it's unconscionable in my opinion. I don't like the fact they're tossing out a 73-year-old woman on a walker if she's been paying her rent on time. And the reason being, and they sent her a renewal, she didn't sign it in time. So we get over the weekend. Dan, pull that up. I want to read it. Every time I go to pull it up, I screw it up. Can one of you guys pull that letter up from there? All right, hold on a second. You know what I'll do? I'll find that over break. But I'm going to read you what they sent us, and I want your opinion, and then, Bill, I'll come to you on that comment you have on it, and then we'll do that. But I do need to tell you guys this. This hour is brought to you by Cam Solar, and I bring Cam Solar up now because the sun's not up today. What happens if you do have solar and you get a lot of rain like this? Well, it's not going to work very well in that period of time. They probably hate me for doing the spot like this, but here's the reality. In Colorado, we get 300-plus days of sunshine. Maybe not this week, but every other week we get it. Cam Solar can do this for you. You call them up right now when I give you the number. You tell them your address. Within 20 minutes, and I love that they can do this, within 20 minutes, they're going to tell you if you should have solar. They're going to tell you how much you can save by having solar, and then they can put a quote together. They can come out and check out your house, make sure your roof's good and everything. But within 20 minutes, you're not going to get a full quote, but within 20 minutes, they can tell you if solar makes sense. They've got this bird's eye software that has pictures of, like, everybody's roof if your house has been around for 6 months or whatever it is. But GoCamSolar.com is their website, and their phone number is 720-449-2935. Let's go to Jeremy. Jeremy, what's going on? This sounds horrible.
Yes, Thursday, June 14th, I got assaulted at work.
Ooh. By who?
He's a trainee. I'm not too familiar with his name. I deal with a lot of truck drivers.
Okay.
And someone was training. I just walked out of the office. And when I walked out, he gave me a head nod to say, like, what's up? So I walked over there to talk to him.
Yeah.
He bear hugged me. So I kind of freaked out, put my hand up on his face, and that's when he turned me over and slammed me on the ground and started choking me.
What?
Cow.
I mean, there's got to be...
I have no clue. I've had 4 days to think about what I've done.
Like he's just nuts is what you're saying.
I don't know if he's nuts. I just maybe had a bad day, but he took it out on me.
You? But why you?
Oh, I have no clue. Everybody at work is still kind of shocked that that's called me. I'm just sitting here kind of going.
Were you on the clock?
Yep, I was working on the clock.
And he was definitely there too, whether he was training or not. He's on the clock?
Correct.
Were the police called?
I did call the police after everything was said and done.
So what happened? Did they arrest him?
No. Freaking my Pepsi said they're doing a criminal investigation. I don't know what to go from here. That's why I'm calling you. I filed a report that I got beat up, assaulted at work. And
that is it. This is an unbelievable story. I want to dig into this with John Fuller.
Time, about a year ago, I called you guys, and I got threatened at work to get beat up.
See, I wonder if maybe this has got something to do with you in general. I mean, my God, I have worked with so many people over so many years, and I've never gotten into an altercation at work. Why do these problems find you?
I honestly, to be completely honest, it's because I think I smile too much. But to be honest, like, I'm happy. I'm just a good, nice, happy-go-lucky guy, and
good-looking guy.
Not good, but people are upset, they're angry at work, sometimes, and I'm just always smiling. And I mean, I think this has been happening for about 4 or 5 years now at this company. And
is it Pepsi? That's where you work?
Yeah.
All right, hold on a second, man. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I'm going to ask John Fuller, what do you do? You got assaulted at work. Do you have injuries, Jeremy? I mean, did the guy break your nose
I
or what?
A headache. I got some scrapes and bruises, but I think I got some whiplash.
You might have a concussion.
That's what I'm saying. I've had a headache since Friday.
Did you go to a workman's comp?
No, see, that's where I'm going to work. Actually, as we speak, I'll be going to work and trying to figure this out because it happened Thursday. I went home Friday I called in because I hurt, my head hurt, everything.
Okay, I got you. Hold tight. And lots of people saw this happen, I assume.
Yes.
This is crazy. All right, hold on. We'll come back to you. I'll also pull up that email. Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ. You know, Tom's kids go over there. They'll do a free consultation with you. And here's the coolest part about Aurora Orthodontics, Dr. Kent Lawson. If he gets your kids early enough, when they're like 8, 9 years old, maybe even younger, maybe a little older, before they would actually need braces, he can do things to their teeth. Listen to me. To where they'll never need braces. Suzanne and I went through that brace thing with both of our kids. You know, it's $150 a month per kid for years and years, and the retainer, and it's a never-ending deal. If you get your kids over there, let them check it out. There's things that this man can do that are better than anything I've seen out there. Tom's kids are doing it literally right now. But it's Dr. Kent Lawson, Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ. He does a lot of other stuff, and a lot of stuff with TMJ. You know, he's treated more than 5,000 cases of TMJ successfully. But this orthodontics part is really cool if you got younger kids or grandkids. Get them over there. It's going to cost you nothing, and it's a lot less. If you look at the ultimate cost of braces, it's a lot less. And then better than that, your kids are never going to be called brace face. 303-690-0100. 303-690-0100, or you can check him out on referralist.com. Think of this guy. I mean, how many people do you know that get beat up more than once at work? I mean, he comes up, bear hugs him, and then slams him to the ground? Dan?
I've done it once.
I got a gal when I was in sales at NCI. She kept selling to people, like she went through her list and would re-sign people up without calling them. Then they call to cancel. So I transferred to her to handle, and she came to my chair and she put her hands around my neck, and I was back like this. And my supervisor saw it, and I said, "What are you going to do?" And she goes, "Well, you keep bullying her." I go, "I just keep sending her the mess that she's making."
Right.
And so, yeah, but that was back when, I guess, you know, you could be sexually harassed. And
You
didn't punch her back?
I so wanted to, and usually I do.
You have to.
So I have to tell you what happened this weekend. So I'm up at Grand Lake, and they're doing work, and they have this big, you know, construction trash can dumpster for their work. So we're out on the boat dock, 9:30 at night, and we hear noise by the trash can. Well, nobody wants to go investigate because it's probably a bear.
Raccoon.
I mean, you just never know, but most likely a bear. And we've run into that bear at the trash can many times. So the next morning, they go out. Another construction from doing some other had dumped all their trash in the dumpster. They're so mad because they have to pay extra because it's overflowing, and now they have to get it dumped and then restart over, so it's going to be double the amount. It's like $700 every time you dump it. So we had gone to town, and then we were walking back in, and I said, "You know, guys, I do this like all the time. I do investigations." I said, "Let's see if there's any mail or boxes or anything." And so I climb up and I find a box, and I'm like, "Here's a name." So we start sleuthing and investigating, find the gal right.
I need a pen, please.
Right across
I got it.
the lake. Right across. It worked. Right across the lake, and we drive over. It's the 3 girls, and so we go over and confront them and say. And so we looked again to make sure, and we found other boxes with the same name. And they were all stuff for the house being sent to their Arvada address. Their construction worker had dumped the trash in ours, and she said the gal was mortified. But we investigated and took care of the situation. It was so fun. We were like Charlie's Angels.
Do you want this thing from there to read it on here?
I got it. I pulled it up.
Okay, I can't.
This computer is so slow when I go to pull up sent items or received that I bury in a folder somewhere. I mean, I gotta literally refresh it. I don't know why.
Dan sent it to me, and the attachment won't even open on mine. So that's why you just wanted my Broadmoor pen. That's the thing.
Broad.
Broadmoor.
got this guy assaulted at work.
Yeah.
I was just walking by him, he barely.
You said nothing's
I'm
ever happened
wondering-
to you. I wanted to
He
say,
smiles.
there's so many times I want to kick you in the shins.
You need to ask him if there's video. Good video.
Well, it looks, I mean, the cops were called.
Yeah, but he called.
What's weird, okay, so thinking of workman's comp, would this, I don't even think workman's comp covers this, is it? Because, I mean, it's a criminal activity, or does workman's comp?
So we can talk about it on the air.
Yeah, okay.
It's a, it would be up to the carrier to allege a safety violation, and they'd have to prove it to cut the benefits in half. If this kid didn't initiate it, then it's clearly within the course and scope. And work comp is pretty darn strict liability, meaning you get hurt at work.
Even if someone else jumps you.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, it's no different than if you got in a car wreck, it wasn't your fault. You know, somebody did something negligent or stupid. You know, I would like to think that the police will follow up on it and do it, but
I wonder if the guy came up and hugged him just like, because he's one of those guys, and the guy, he said he put his hand in the face, and he did it rather hard to the point, and the guy just,
the guy might have just whipped his ass for it.
yeah, right. That's what, yeah.
There's always more to the story than,
What?
you know, when they call in.
There's only one side.
No.
Maybe he was gay, and the guy was gay, and they were ex-lovers.
No,
They didn't want to date them.
All right, Bright Light Chiropractic. Check these guys out. You know, Tom goes there. He actually loves going there. I personally am not into getting my back cracked, but here's what I love about these guys. You ready? First, I'm going to give you their pricing. Andy's very, very, very good at what he does. BrightenYourFamily.com, by the way. But you can go in there for $50 for the initial evaluation. Adjustments start at just $50. If you buy them in a package, you can get different adjustments on your back for $35. But this guy doesn't try to sell stem cells out of the back. He does one thing, and he does it very good, and he loves being a chiropractor. He performs a spinal manipulation and an adjustments in a technique called torque release technique, or TRT. So give him a call. If you're not happy with the guy you're using now, give this guy a shot. You can't beat it for the price. Like I said, adjustments as low as $35. If you're a veteran, they're always only $30 for an adjustment. 720-583-4506. 720-583-4506. BrightenYourFamily.com. I pulled up that email. We're going to talk about Doreen. I promised Bill I'll get to that, but I need to finish up with Jeremy. He was working. I guess he works for Pepsi. He was working. He's coming out of an office. A new guy or a trainee runs up, bear hugs him, then slams him to the ground. Right, Jeremy?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, John Fuller, I've got to ask you one thing. Actually, I've got about 50 questions here. But here's the thing I'm curious about. Workman's comp would cover this. We were talking on the break, but explain to me why. Explain to the listeners. This is like a criminal activity, what he's talking about. Why, as an insurance carrier for workman's comp like Pinnacle or whoever it is, why do they have to cover something like this? I can understand it, you know, like they slip and fall at work or something along that lines, but this is completely different.
So we're taking Jeremy at his word that he had no role in starting, prompting, initiating, or otherwise making this event happen.
With the exception of smiling, like he said.
And we'd have to look at the video on that. So here's the deal. Work comp is basically as close to strict liability as you can get. So the default position for injuries that happen in the course and scope of somebody's employment is that it's going to be covered. Now, there are exceptions if there are safety violations or if there's drugs and alcohol involved.
Maybe a third person that could be liable, like a faulty equipment, a manufacturer.
And yeah, even then the default position would be that comp would pay, and then we'd have a third-party claim to go after the other entity that might be responsible. In fact, that's really the only time you can go after some other entity is when there's a different entity involved, a different company, a driver of another vehicle, those kind of things. So the default position is going to be, hey, if it's course and scope of work, they're going to cover it. And keeping in mind that kind of requires what this guy did to be a criminal act. I mean, an assault that wasn't warranted at all. It's not going to be viewed by the company as being two guys fighting over, you know,
whatever,
somebody
a shift,
drinking the milk in the break room or something.
So, if it was something like that.
Well, I think they're going to allege that that was, you know,
outside of the scope of their
outside of the
coverage.
course and scope, right.
Now,
yeah.
workman's comp, and I'm sorry, I'll get back to you in a second, Jeremy, and, you know, we'll answer whatever question, but workman's comp initially was really for the employees. My understanding is, you know, a lot of employees were getting hurt at work, they didn't have coverage, and there was nothing there. But ultimately, it's almost become a tool that really helps the employers more than the employees. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. It's way more in the favor of the employer.
But initially, I don't think it was meant that way.
I don't know that that's true. What it was basically sold as, Mark, was protection against employees being able to sue their employers for injuries that they had on the job.
And it would be hard. You know, I, at one point, employed over 50 people in my Goodyear store, so we had 50 employees. It would be very hard if you could sue your employer for virtually anything you wanted at any time. I don't think you could afford to be in business. So I do think there is definitely a need for that. But it can be used. I mean, here's what kills me, John, and you're in personal injury. You know, you lose a finger or something, they don't give you crap, man. I mean, my understanding is they go to a menu item under the workman's comp schedule, and it's you really don't get anything, to where if I lost that in a car wreck or something and they had actually good insurance, I would probably get a lot more.
You absolutely would. Nobody gets rich off of workers' comp.
So, Jeremy, what questions do you have? You have John Fuller here. What do you got, man?
Well, the big thing really is, you know, you kind of answered some of the questions about the legal way, so I'll call through workman's comp. But, Mike, I have my flex days and a couple things because of this. Am I going to be able to recoup that? I mean,
I missed that. You have what? You have some work?
Flex days, you know, that I used for these days because they didn't pay me for them. I had to take them on, and I don't feel that's kind of fair. I mean, I'm not trying to get billions of dollars. I'm just trying to get my stuff recompensated.
I can't imagine why that wouldn't be covered.
No, so what needs to happen is when they open the work comp claim, they're going to assess what your average weekly wage is, and they will reimburse you for those days off. It shouldn't count against your flex time or you know, paid time off.
You should probably
whatever. But
you should probably find a workman's comp attorney too and talk to him.
I don't know that, you know, the initial thing that's more important is just to get the claim open up with the employer, put everybody on notice, and a lot of that stuff will kind of take care of its own, especially the time off work and the medical treatment and stuff.
Generally always handled.
Yeah, they're gonna dictate and tell you a choice of like 3 clinics to go to and stuff. So the advice I'd give you right now is don't confuse the issue by doing a bunch of treatment on your own health insurance and then assume that the work comp case is going to just kind of
And Jeremy, you still got to be straight with me, man. What happened? Did you like wink at him or something? Like, hey,
I work outdoors. I have a big hat.
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Yeah.
My collar's up.
Yeah.
I have these lime green sleeves on with my socks pulled up high. I'm not a threat at any means.
You're a freak.
I'm just a weird-looking guy.
Why do you dress? Why do you dress so weird?
Oh well, I'm out in the sun all day.
Okay.
So
lime green socks, Crocs.
Well, they're the it's the UV protective gear, you know.
Send me a photo. Will you send me a photo of yourself? Would you do that for me?
Is it the number I call that I can send you a photo?
Suzanne will give you it. Hold on. I'd like to...
All right, I'll have to get one for you.
Yeah, do that. Or if you already have one on your phone or something, but I got to get a load of you, man. I got to. Anybody that's been in multiple altercations at work, because they, at least in their own head, think it's because they smile too much, I got to get a load of you, man. I have to. 303-713-8255. Suzanne, give him a live at Troubleshooter or one of our Google numbers to text at. David, what's going on with you?
I had a hail issue that happened last week, and had the trolley come out, and they confirmed, yep, the roof is bad. So I reached out to my insurance company trying to figure out what my deductible is going to be, and it's a 1%. But I bought my house for, it's like in the 330s, 340s, so I'm taking 3,400. They're telling me it's over 5,000. My house is not over $500,000. I'm trying to figure out how they're getting this value established.
Well, let's do this. Let's get up our experts at Compass Insurance and ask them, because you're not going to be the only one with these questions. You have to, and this is for everybody listening, before the hail hits, before you do have a major damage, because of all the hail in Colorado, insurance has gotten crazy. Some people have actual cash value policies now. If that roof is 15, 20 years old, I mean, you might not get anything. I mean, literally, you might not get anything. These deductibles, when it comes to a percentage, are crazy, too. And the values of homes in Colorado right now, you know, granted, I think they're outrageous, but that's what you can sell them for. But let's ask Brian Burns at Compass or one of the guys over there, what's going on? I mean, what happens if they do say, hey, your house is $1 million, we want 1% of $1 million? How do you come up with how much it's worth? I would guess they see what they're selling for, just like a car or anything else, right, John?
Yeah, usually that's actually the replacement value. It's not the appraised value of the whole property, land included. So a good place to start would be to get your tax certificates out and start trying to get some idea of what the parsed out value of the
see what it is.
Yeah, you may be surprised what it is.
Let's figure it out, and then Compass is great at helping people with this stuff. There must be a way you can argue it if you really think it's wrong. All right, bestbasementsdenver.com. The owner's Jack Lent. He was in law enforcement forever. He was a state patrol guy. 20 years in the construction business, of course, licensed, bonded, insured. I was talking to him the other day. Here's what he does. If you want to get your basement done, that's his specialty. He does other stuff too, kitchen remodels and bathrooms, but basements are his specialty because he's so good at doing them, he can keep that cost down. If you've gotten bids in the past that are, you know, X amount per square foot, let's say, you know, $70, $80 per square foot, he's going to kill it. He's going to beat most prices out there, but he's going to do the best job. We call it value engineering. It's the best look for the least amount of money, the most efficient way to accomplish a creative design with just minimal cost. But if you're looking to get a free bid on your basement, call up Lent Construction, 720-744-2885. Lent Construction, 720-744-2885.
So, Mark, sometimes, you know, of course, I got another message from Mark.
From who?
Crane Ash.
So I don't even want to talk about that right now. But I don't want to talk about that. But go
no,
ahead.
Sometimes under legal, finance, and professional services,
yes,
it's like a page is missing. It's like if you go through all 6 pages, sometimes he's there, and then sometimes he's not.
It must be something to do with what keyword you're searching.
No, but yeah, and it's
well, you've got to show me where it's not or there.
Legal, finance, and professional services. Now, if you put lawyer in front of it, yes. But just that legal. Right now, he's showing up. But the first time I checked, he did not. So it almost feels like there needs to be a page 7.
See, I think he told me this is gone. Oh, Dan, do you remember if Colorado Tinnitus, did they cancel their, damn it, I'm positive I heard him tell me he canceled it, but it's still in this copy.
I don't know.
Ugh.
Did Suze know?
No, she won't know.
Would you know?
No, sir. I know.
So this David guy, it's USAA that he's got, and he had bought the house for like.
So they're saying 1%, his
1%
deductible is 1% of the value of his house.
Right, and he bought it last year for $350. So, but that's with the land and everything. Now, granted,
When did he buy it? 1960?
no, last year.
How much?
What did they specify in his policy?
That's what I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what is what they.
He bought the house for, what kind of house did he buy for 150?
$350.
Oh, 350. And how long ago?
I heard 152.
I don't know. That's not that crazy, man.
Remember, the $350 is for the land and everything.
Yeah, but the land doesn't matter. They don't insure the land.
I understand.
But
So
there's got to be a specified value for the
house,
replacement.
right.
The replacement
That's an
house.
agreed upon value in his insurance.
And if it probably is $500,000, whatever they sold him.
He probably put that in there. You know.
Because it sounds better, I don't know. But
And honestly, if he bought that for $350 over a year ago, it could right now with
Colorado's
lack of construction people, lack of labor, lack of everything because the boom's going on, it could easily cost that much.
Colorado Springs, though, remember, it's not Denver.
Oh.
So it's not as,
We paid our house up on Friday.
but on taxes,
I have 2.65. We've got you know, we're 75, 80%. We've paid off on the house. I can't even justify why I would pay off our, I think we're on a 15-year mortgage when it's 2.65. I can't imagine. I can make money off that. I just can't imagine.
We have owned the house. You know, there was.
I've got Jeremy
Ours is paid
Curzio on.
off. We're
Dan,
buying
your
a house
dentist.
next week.
Yeah.
Paying cash for that. You know,
The
just
guy's daughter
Like a
committed
parent.
suicide. He says he finally called. He didn't answer it all Thursday, but he has a family member, family friend on too. So there's
Okay.
2 of them for it. Lines are full.
Did we get, oh,
That's a
good.
cute jacket, girly girl.
Thank you. It was like $10 at Sam's.
It's got like a little gold in it.
Yeah, like a rock star.
You are a rock star. You're married to Mark.
Oh, well, of
Um,
course.
Yeah, we went out to our house on Sunday because we ordered window blinds and they left some temporaries in a closet for us.
In Wyoming?
No, here.
Oh.
Somebody broke in our damn house.
Oh, we're starting to get that.
It's a brand new home. We haven't even closed on it yet.
Yeah.
They took a damn sawzall and we
Was that just damage?
cut open a chunk that big out of the metal door on the side of the garage.
Oh, you
Reached
kidding.
in, opened the damn locks, and just went right in.
What did they do? Take like
They
the,
didn't get anything.
because there was
They got-
nothing there?
No, there's stuff there. There's big mega gas appliances and refrigerators and stuff. They had a truck with a big trailer behind them. I think they were going for the appliances. But they got confronted by 2 of the gals from the sales unit. And they were like, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, we're the workers." And they're like, "No, you're not the damn workers. Get the hell out of here." You know?
I'm
And they
surprised they didn't
left.
call the
They took a
cops.
picture of them, but they didn't know anything had been broken into
They didn't
until
get the license
2 days later when we showed up and we're like, that's a nice hole in the door.
So no
over there."
license
Yeah.
plate?
They got a picture of the license.
Oh,
And did I pay for
Where's your
that
house?
hole in the door?
Up in Thornton,
Mm-hmm.
a place called Heritage Concrete.
But the cops
Oh
didn't
my
do
God.
anything? Cops didn't do anything?
I don't know. It's not my house to call them, so it's, you know.
All right, Art of Granite, Mitchell and Rhea. I've used them numerous times. You need granite. It's very simple, and it's like this. You call Mitch Floria, Art of Granite. He's a guy that came over to this country years ago, $300 in his pocket, no English, no family, no friends, worked his way from New York up here to Colorado, learned how to fabricate granite, worked for a guy forever, and he's the best now. Now he owns Art of Granite. He's been doing it for years and years. Of course, he's married, he's a citizen, he's got kids, the whole bit. It truly is a great story, a successful story, and the reason it's such a great story is because it shows you how hard Mitch works. If you hire him, he's going to knock it out of the park for you. He's a great guy if you need granite, countertops, anything. Once again, I've personally used them 3 times. Ready? 303-386-5919. 303-386-5919, or you can find them on our referral list at referrallist.com. I want to go back, and I promise we will get to that update with Doreen. I've got that email pulled up, but David, we were talking to, and David, who is your insurance company? I have Jeremy listening right now.
It's USAA.
All right, so you have USAA. You bought the house how long ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. You bought it for $350,000, I've been told. Is that correct?
It's in that ballpark. We bought it, I believe it was like at $320. We refinanced. I think it's in the $340s now.
Somewhere around there. Okay, so
Yep.
that was 3 years ago, and you're in Colorado Springs. You got hit with that hailstorm, last week, right?
Yes.
So you have them out, and they say, yes, there's definitely damage, but your deductible is 1% of the value of the house, and they're valuing the replacement cost at $500,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, 523.
At $523, and you're going, there's no way. I bought this house, so I wanted to ask Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, what's going on, man?
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How does when you have a deductible for hail, that's a percentage of the replacement cost of the dwelling. What happens if they say, we think it's worth $600,000? Or does it simply come down to whatever is in that contract when he bought the insurance? It's going to name that replacement value.
Yeah, it's better to word it as it's 1% of the dwelling coverage, which is what it is. So it's not something you determine after the fact. Whatever your coverage is, it's 1% of coverage A.
Yeah, so
dwelling coverage.
So David basically what happened is when you bought that policy, or whenever you refied and got a new policy, or whatever happened, when you bought that, in that contract, in your policy, that dwelling is listed as a replacement of $523,000 or whatever they're telling you. If it's not listed at that, well, then it'll be simple, right, Jeremy? It's going to be whatever it's listed at.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing, and it's hard to know on this one, but, you know, if you look at a market value of your home, that is not always the replacement construction cost.
Yeah, of course.
And probably not $200,000 higher, but it could be. So that always trips people up, too. My house is worth this.
But it doesn't matter because it's all going to come down to what number's in that policy, correct?
In this case, exactly, yeah. It's just 1% of whatever the dwelling coverage A coverage is.
So, David, what you might want to do, just so you understand it, and you might now, but call up your adjuster, USAA, and say, hey, in my policy, do me a favor, highlight that $523,000 number, the dwelling replacement cost, so I can see it, and then highlight where it says 1%, and then you can read the actual terms and see. But do you understand the deal now?
No, I understand that. I guess I just need to backtrack because I'm pretty confident that when I refinanced, I tried to get that dwelling replacement coverage down because, I mean, I can't think of, I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't think it would be over $200,000 for, like, the disposal and everything else if I had to have a rebuild. So I think I tried to get it down to like 4.
Then ask them exactly what I said. Have them point out in your policy where that number is. And if they can't do it, well, then there's going to be an issue. So, I mean, that's it. I appreciate that. Hey, by the way, Petrali Roofing, Excel Roofing down there on our referral list. I don't know who you've called, but call someone on the referral list. The door knockers are absolutely out in armies in Colorado Springs right now. Don't go with these people. Go with someone that's signed our code of ethics.
I had Petrali out, and they were the ones who initially looked at the roof, and then after Petrali inspected it, that's when I called my insurance.
Excellent. You did it.
Mark, can I throw one other thing out?
Yeah, of course, man.
I would tell them to ask them when you call for their replacement cost estimator.
Yeah.
Because that's the tool we use to set that value. And I'd be interested to see what that came in versus what they set the insurance at.
You know what's curious, Jeremy, is let's say your house is, I'll just use easy numbers, $500,000, okay? So if you've got a $500,000 home and you want to insure it for a total loss of $800,000, generally they would never let you do that, right?
That big of a gap, probably not, yeah.
Yeah, because really what you're saying is, hey, if I ever do lose my house, I want to build a bigger, nicer, better home, is what the deal is. And that's not what the insurance is for. The insurance is to make you whole.
Exactly, yeah. You can't over-insure it to better yourself.
Yeah.
Companies are giving a little more leeway these days in Denver specifically just because construction costs are so high that the replacement cost estimator isn't necessarily catching up to the true cost.
Yep. I hope everybody that heard this call, by the way, looks at their current policy, because a lot of people are shocked when they find out they have either an actual cash value policy, which means if your roof is, you know, half used, if it's a 20-year roof and you're at about 10, and you've got a $10,000 roof from hail damage, you know, you're going to have to pony up half of that. And then the other one is these percentage ones. I mean, and then if you do have an LVT policy, or if you do have a percentage policy like this, where you could have very high deductibles, you should call up Compass Insurance. Jeremy, you don't like those kind of policies, do you?
No, the actual cash value, no. I mean, there's, you know, rare circumstances that make sense, but yeah, those you want to avoid. And the deductible base, this is what happens. You know, the caller calls in. It's really hard when you're looking at that renewal for 5 minutes to really figure out what that means. If it's a flat number, even if it's $2,500, which a lot of companies
that's what mine is.
At least you know it's $2,500.
That's exactly what mine is. It's $2,500 from you guys.
Yeah, exactly. At least that's clear. You know, 1% of the dwelling coverage that's always changing. You know, most people are going to find out what that really is after. Well,
and here's the killer. Then I got to let you go. If the house is, say, $500,000, like his is, if that's what actually turns out to be in his policy for the replacement cost, you know, let's say he's got a small roof, though. Let's say it's a 2-story or a 3-story house with a very small roof. So the roof, at most, only costs $12,000. And I'm not saying that's in this case, but my God, he's still going to have to cough up that $5,000 deductible compared to if it was a ranch house that had a ginormous roof and it was a $30,000 roof, then the $5,000 seems a little more in line. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right. No, you're spot on with
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Jeremy with Compass Insurance, by the way, you can give them a call anytime. They'll generally save you a ton of money, and it's free to check. I mean, really. You know, we have that one commercial that says, 10 minutes, or what does it say? 15 minutes can save you 10% or some crap like that. These guys have saved 30, 40% some cases. 303-996-9000. Let me read this. So this is what City Center Station sent us, okay? Then I'll come to your comment on it, Bill. They sent us over the weekend. We haven't got anybody to call us back from this place. Deputy Daff, how many messages did you leave altogether? I mean, just a ballpark.
I would say over 20.
Yeah, 20 messages they never call back. Remember, I personally walked in with this woman to the front after they said they wouldn't talk to me unless she okayed it. I went, got her and her walker, went all the way back, and in that time frame, they changed their mind and didn't say anything to me. They said they'd have a written statement. That was a week ago. Never got a written statement, never got a return phone call. Finally, we get this, and I'm sure it's because I've been giving their phone number out there for listeners to ask them, why aren't they giving us that statement they promised, and why are they booting the old lady out? They want her to sign this now. And here's what it reads. By signing below, I hereby authorize the agents for the City Center Apartments to release any and all information about my lease and tenancy in said apartments to the Tom Martino radio show and its agents. I hereby hold harmless the City Center Apartments and its agents from the consequences of the release of said information. And they wanted her to sign it. Doreen doesn't want to sign it, which brings up so many different questions, but we're going to discuss that after this. In the meantime, Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. What I love about Rocky's is one thing. They've been on a referral list forever and ever. They're a used car dealer, and you ready? We don't get complaints on them. I think I've gotten 1, maybe 2 complaints in a 4 or 5 year period over Rockies. When you buy a car there, you're buying a good used car. They do a Carfax on every vehicle. You'll get it. They have the product price and process down. These guys know how to sell vehicles. If you've got good credit, they'll put you with the right lender. You can get 2.9%, whatever the going rate is at any credit union. If you have bad credit, they'll find somebody to help you out without ripping your throat out. They're great people. They have all kinds of late model vans, SUVs. They've got sports cars. They've got Cadillacs. They've got Toyotas. They got minivans. Put them on the list. I always say that if you're looking for a used car, it's not going to hurt to go to 63rd and Federal or go to RockiesAutos.com, and you can see their inventory right there. And their inventory changes all the time. If you checked it over the weekend, check it again on Monday. RockiesAutos.com, 63rd and Federal, summer hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and you can always find them on our referral list at referrallist.com.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. The drive across the Mile High City freeway system for the most...
Doreen, I did find you an apartment. I need to know what
She's
your
scared.
thoughts are.
She's scared.
But I told her, I said, I found you an apartment. We can move you next week. I said, but you need to let us know what, what you want us to do. So, I was hoping I'd get information on the apartment.
She's going to take you up on it. Y'all can come with me.
There you go. Uh-oh.
Well, thank God she's like in a 400 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think she's got clothes. She might have a couch.
Yeah, a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I made the worst decision last time we moved. Just the worst. I will never, here's what I'll do next time we move. I'll either sell, we've got high-end furniture. I will either sell the furniture I won't fucking move shit again. There's no purpose in it. There's no purpose in it. I really started thinking about it. Your family heirlooms, my guitars, there's certain stuff you're always going to move. But when it comes to Everything we moved, we ended up replacing because it just didn't go with the new house. So, I mean, it was just a waste of fucking time.
Especially if you move across country.
We literally have replaced every piece of furniture now at this point. Everything. And then the pool table.
Have to do some of that too.
Frank, when we sold our last house, I only had a 6-foot pool table because of the size of the room. Beautiful pool table, 6 foot. It was mahogany. It was beautiful. But our new house, my basement's like yours. It's like 3,200. It's twice as big as my first house, just the game room. So I want a big table. So in the old house, the people, Frank literally started a bidding war. And then I made him go back and say, well, the ones that can close the quickest, there's no contingency, okay? And out of those people, which there was 5, the ones that agree to buy everything in the fucking basement. And then I put a crazy price on it, and sure enough, they bought everything. They bought the pool table, they bought everything. The weird part was the one that bought it ended up getting rid of everything in there because a mother-in-law moved in. They turned it into an apartment.
But it was his problem to get rid of.
It was his problem. Right.
Well, I tell you, the easiest way is fire.
Oh, fire, yeah.
It just got rid of everything.
There goes your heirloom.
And,
There goes your
my
heirloom.
grandma had just passed away, and I just gotten all of her, the stuff. And I lost all that.
I rented a 30-yard roll-off dumpster and filled that sucker to the damn.
Really?
I've done that.
Why did you have like a estate sale?
I've done
This
that.
was junk.
Junk, it was just stuff. I've lived in this place for 20 years.
It's stuff.
Just stuff, you know?
I
That
know.
I didn't need and I didn't want and I wasn't going to try to sell. And I sold a bunch of stuff too. I mean, a bunch of tools and, stuff that was of value. But, I mean, we're moving from a couple acres with the barn and the, I don't know what our house
Things
is,
you're not
probably
gonna
close to
need.
5,000 feet, into a 3,500 square foot main level ranch with no barn,
Right.
which is a huge step back for me in terms of
Storage.
stuff and space.
I'm literally building the garage right now.
You get stuff.
Well,
So-
I got stuff, and I have no place for my stuff.
But we're on a 1/3 of an acre lot, and we
How big was your old lot?
couple acres. And you can't do any of that. You can't put a barn up. You can't.
Oh, it's a whole different.
You can't park.
We have no HOA.
yeah.
We have a militant HOA that we're moving into.
That can be good.
It's going to be good, but it's
You're not a
retirement
rule breaker.
community. It's ideally it's something that when everybody gets moved in, that there's going to be a lot of eyes on everything, and it'll be very safe, and we won't have things like what happened on.
When it's done.
Opening doors up.
What area is it?
Do you know kind of the north end, Highway 7 in Quebec? So,
What town is it?
100 Thornton.
Okay.
So,
I'm never there.
do you know where, like, Cabela's is on
Oh,
the
yeah.
north end, and you see 470 takes off right there?
Yep.
So 3 miles to the east, that's Quebec, and we're about a half mile north of there.
Got it.
So you're Parker?
No, Thornton.
Oh, you're up there.
So anytime Rick he's like, well, what should we do with this stuff? I go, throw it away. It's fuel for fire. And he goes, what? Because he'll have like a stack of magazines on it.
This is some old school music. Anyhow, listen to this one. Frank Duran, the real estate man. We were talking about him during the break. He's such a great guy. I was telling these guys how he sold my house in Castle Rock. Suzanne and I moved recently to, well, I say recently, it was a couple of years ago, but we moved. Anyhow, I didn't want to move the pool table, so one of the things Frank did, not only did he get more money than I ever was going to ask in the first place, and what another realtor told me, I mean, literally, he got us more, and he saved us a bunch on the other side, but he also insisted that out of all the offers that he got us, that the person would buy the pool table from me that I didn't want to move to the new house. So the guy not only paid more for the house than I thought I'd end up selling it for, but he was forced to buy the pool table. So these are the kind of things that Frank Duran, he thinks outside the box. That's why he has literally a negotiations license or a diploma, whatever you want to call it. He went to school for it, and the guy can negotiate like he's a madman. He's a great guy. FrankDuranHomes.com, FrankDuranHomes.com, FrankDuranHomes.com. All right, so I read this. John, let me ask you, You know, here's a line I don't like in this Doreen deal. At the end it says, I hereby hold harmless the City and Center Apartments and its agents from the consequences of the release of said info. It just, the word, they're almost implying, it's so weird reading this, because I go, okay, did we get okey-doked by Doreen? And for people that have been following this, we're still helping her. In fact, Deputy Daff found her a place. We'll talk about that. But she doesn't want to sign it. In fact, she told Dan today. Dan, what exactly did she tell you? She just wants out of there. She's done with them.
Yep. She says 12 years here. I paid all on cash every time. I just want out of here because they want me out of here.
Because they want, and I feel bad for her. So we're going to literally help her move. We found her a couple places. But it does beg the question, do you think she's hiding something? And she's probably listening right now. And Doreen, we are. We're literally going to help you move your furniture, okay? We're literally helping you find a new place, so don't get upset with me. But it does beg that question. John, when you read this before the show, what do you make of that last line? It's almost like they're implying that there is going to be negative consequences.
Yeah, they clearly are. And there, you know, in fairness, I probably would have written something similar to that.
Well, you're an attorney. You would have written it 4 pages long.
Well, no. This probably was written by their attorney. I mean, yeah. It probably was. And so what consequences could flow from the release of the information? Perhaps nothing. But, you know, if you've got a 73-year-old woman and you put something like that in paper, it's going to be intimidating.
Yeah.
You know, and that probably was the goal.
And then the other one, and she didn't answer this. Dan, I was right there and talking to her on speaker with you. It's like, why won't she sign it? What do you make of it?
Yeah, she said she has not received anything why she's being evicted, and she doesn't even care. She just wants out.
She wants out now. At first she wanted to stay.
Right.
She definitely doesn't have to sign anything to be told what the reason is for herself.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, it's true, but apparently they haven't done anything. But we'll talk about more. Bill, I promise I'll get you up to talk about it after this. 303-MARTINO, don't forget that number, live at Troubleshooter.com. That email works all the time, too. And don't forget, you can watch us live on YouTube and Facebook. Just look for Referral List on Facebook. You can see us right now. We talk during the breaks. We'll be back after these messages.
Oh, I still think it would be great if we could get the Boy Scouts to help us move. That would
regardless to me, even if, I don't know, it's not a hoarding issue.
Those Mormon kids down there.
Huh?
Get those Mormon kids down there.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
They would,
No, they're no longer in the Boy Scouts, right?
No.
The Scouts.
No. The Mormons, when they're on their mission. Oh, my God.
Man, let me tell you.
I'm going to tell you what a bum I am. They came to my door, the missionaries, and because my old neighbor, Bruce, he became a good friend, is way up in the church in Castle Rock. So Bruce goes, hey, these guys are staying with us for, 2 weeks, whatever. If you need anything done, they'll do it. But they're going to want to talk to you about joining the church, which, of course, he's already done 100 times. Get out of here. So they come over. I had them planting trees for 2 days straight.
No way.
Oh, dude, I put them to work like you wouldn't believe. Landscape in my backyard.
I'm down in Florida cleaning up after the hurricane. I mean, it's a mess down there. We've got trees everywhere and chainsaws going off, and I'm just dead beat, worn out. And here comes this whole flock of them down the street. They're all wearing yellow T-shirts, and they have their little logo from whatever church they were in Miami or something. They were just going, door to door helping people. Didn't ask for a thing in return. I mean, it was beautiful to have 15 kids show up that were all young and healthy.
It's incredible. People don't realize they don't. I ended up giving them. I felt bad, but they didn't even want to take the money. I literally had to force it, but I didn't. I gave them $50 each.
I offered them some cold beer, but
Oh, yeah, they didn't do that.
Thanks.
Some near beer. I couldn't believe it, though. No, God, no.
So the witnesses drink.
In fact, I'll tell you how it is. When it comes to drugs, no caffeine.
Right, I know it's no caffeine.
Bruce would hide. I used to make fun of him. He would hide his caffeine.
Pepsi's okay.
Good Diet Pepsi, not Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi still has caffeine in it.
I'm telling you, they are not supposed to drink caffeine.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
I know. I mean, I used to bust his chops because he'd hide it. Remember, Bruce would, our old neighbor Bruce, he would sneak. What would he sneak and drink to church?
Soda. Hey, I just wanted to tell you, I walked out of Craig Friday disappointed. They are just, that one is not as good as Castle
Oh my
Rock.
God, it sucked.
Really?
We were.
There was
I
not
told
enough
her, I said, why
love
do
to
we
my
even
grilled
go?
cheese buns, just so you know.
Not enough love.
Not enough love put into them.
No, and the bacon, the burger
Yeah.
looked smaller, the bacon was less.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. It was like, it wasn't even like Crave. It was
So
like
now
a fucking
you have
Denny's
to come down to
burger.
the Castle Rock one and retry.
It
my
was
favorite
okay.
burger job.
I mean, it was okay.
So this place owns, John, I want to say 4 locations.
2 days.
We always go to this thing called the Denver Burger Battle each year. And they're really high-line burgers. These are really good burgers. Different places come to compete. There's a winner. It's a real deal. The tickets are like, 100, 150 bucks.
All you can drink though.
Yeah, all the beer and whiskey and shit like that. So, we'll Uber down and basically Uber back.
Or walk.
So, they had the one location. They won the burger battle a few years. Just unbelievable. You'd go to the location. It'd have to be where we used to live in Castle Rock. And you would buy a burger that has, for example, 2 full grilled cheese sandwiches with like a hamburger in the middle and then maybe
you
an
can
egg
get
or
one with donut,
a donut.
buns,
You know
John,
these burgers.
craziness.
They're like, it's 20 pounds of food. Now all of a sudden they've got 4 locations and they suck, man. It's like Denny's. They did this expansion. They just lost it. The restaurants, man, you got to give it to McDonald's. The consistency is unbelievable for the amount of restaurants they have. A quarter pounder tastes the same way it does in every place. Good, bad, or indifferent.
That's what Tom says about Starbucks too.
Yeah, Starbucks, I agree. I can't spend that on coffee. She does.
Right, but
she does enough for the whole fucking family.
Consistency.
Actually, Suzanne's pretty good at that. Why spend that on coffee when you can buy a good IPA?
You do IPAs, John?
I love it.
I tell you, after drinking them, the rest of this doesn't get flavor.
You can't switch.
Bud has no flavor. No
We were
flavor.
like Charlie's Angels.
When I did my banana and beer diet years ago, it was Michelob Ultra from the grocery store.
The only thing you might be wrong on, Mark, is I don't know if Castle Rock was the first location.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't know.
It's gone to shit, though, hasn't it?
Not Castle Rock location.
No, you're right. You're right.
The
Not
location
Castle
of
Rock.
what?
Ooh, I wonder if they're franchises.
They might be Crave Burgers.
Oh, yeah, how was your lunch on Friday?
Not good.
No?
Well,
I mean, it was right.
Well, good, I'm glad I missed it.
No, but she bragged about it so much. It's so different than the Castle Rock one. It was like an entirely different restaurant.
I'm gonna go there and stuff.
I'm gonna-
The best burger I've had, seriously, is at Elway's at the airport.
Elway's, their food is really good.
This is at the airport.
Yeah, I've never
and
had
it was
that.
good. It was
Have you
good.
eaten at the Westin at the airport? The new
No.
hotel there? Oh my God. It's really good. And it's not expensive.
Well, Elway's one is like $13 at the airport for burger, which is not expensive at all.
Yeah.
What?
Elway's got a burger's $13, I think, for a burger and fries at Elway's at the airport. It was delicious.
Over in Park Meadows, what's that really nice steakhouse? Harry's.
Harry's, yeah.
They have a fucking burger on happy hour. It's their full burger, but it's like $13, $14. Fuck, it is delicious. It is an unbelievable, just delicious
We
piece of
need
meat.
to call Andrew at Ruth Chris.
Make it on my calendar.
So I got the last 2 tickets.
Tomorrow.
Greg Hollenbach invited me
It's on the
to
Outlook calendar.
an exclusive chef's table, and they're $100 tickets a piece. But it's with the gal that was on Top Chef, and I'm a huge Top Chef fan, and she was like my favorite. She's the chef. I'm so excited. I'm like, Greg, I got the last 2 tickets. He goes, oh, I can't wait to see you. I'm like, I am over the moon excited. And then we were going to buy tickets for the second one, and it sold out before we. But I didn't know this chef, so I'll try to do the next
That's the
one.
big combination between
Next,
March and a parade.
Oh, really?
Next year we'll all have
I
to
didn't
do
know that.
Like a rally that ends
that
in a walk down
dining
to the
week, that
Capitol.
5280 week.
Oh, yeah, we should do it together.
You know what sucks though? Every time we go to one, I never order off that stupid menu. I go there because the price is alluring, and it's the only
Right.
reason I try a new restaurant. And then I get there, like Perry's, I get there and I'm like, I don't want that. I want a fucking ribeye or something. I don't want. So you go, they screw you. They should give you a deal on everything.
Do you eat lamb?
No, yeah.
Welcome to the show, the only
show of its kind. We solve problems, we answer questions, we take your complaints, we make your life just a little bit better. We go after the bad guys in a nutshell. You've been ripped off, taken advantage of, you just need help. We help people that are getting evicted. We help people that have been ripped off by contractors. We help people that have been ripped off by chiropractors pretending to sell stem cells out of the back. That still drives me crazy, how they call themselves chiropractors, but yet they sell stem cells out of the back. We finally found, and now I'm going to pull them up. I wasn't even starting off doing a commercial, but I ended up doing it. And the reason I even bring them up is Centeno Schultz is the best out there. In fact, Suzanne, do me a favor, put their number up so I have it. I don't even need copy on this one because there's so many people that have been ripped off by these chiropractors selling stem cells out of the closet in the back. You know, one of them, they don't even use a guided needle, and they're not live stem cells. That's what drives me crazy. What Centeno Schultz does is well, it's breathtaking because he's the first one in the country to do it. They harvest your own stem cells. They'll go in, they'll pull them either out of your fat, but generally I think in most facilities they pull them out of your bone marrow. Then they put them in their lab right there, and then they energize them or do whatever they do back in the lab. I'm not going to pretend to get it. But they're live stem cells. They're real. Then they use a real nurse, a real doctor, not some chiropractor, and they use a guided needle to put it in your shoulder if it's your shoulder that hurts, or your hips, or your joints, wherever you have the pain. And they'll talk to you for free. They'll actually answer all your questions. Will this actually help me? How much is it? That is what Centeno Schultz does, and they're the best at it. They're the leaders. Centeno himself, once again, he was the pioneer of harvesting your own stem cells and actually making it so these things help you and work. Don't get ripped off by the other guys. Call Centeno Schultz, 303-429-6448, 303-429-6448. John, did you see how I did that? Did you see how I started the show and did a commercial, but yet I wasn't even going to do a commercial?
It's just smooth.
Did you see that?
Just smooth, Mark.
Thank you, John. You know, I'm not so sure he means that, though. I detect a little bit of, All right. Bill's got a comment on Doreen. I got to just recap real quick. We were helping out a 73-year-old woman. She was getting evicted. They sent her a renewal. She didn't sign the renewal in time, apparently, so they later sent her eviction notice. She doesn't really want to help anymore. Well, that's not true. She doesn't want us talking about it anymore, but I'm sorry, Doreen. I mean, this is a talk show. You called us for help. That's what we'll do. And we are going to help you. Regardless of anything, we are going to help you move. I went out. I met you. We're going to help you move. We're going to help you find a new place. In fact, Daff, you did find her an apartment right in Aurora, and it looks a lot nicer. I think it was like $60 more.
Yeah, $60 more, less than what she would pay month to month, and you know, it's right up the street. The thing that they're not understanding is moving a 73-year-old is very traumatic. It's traumatic for her.
Yeah, but after reading this, and I was asking John his opinion on it, you know, they put in this this release they wanted her to sign in order to talk to us. They use this word consequences. Almost like, oh, wait till we tell them that you did this. Like you run around naked in the middle of the night in the complex, or you haven't paid your rent for 6 months, but I don't think any of that's correct. But I was right there and they wouldn't tell me. The one woman there said she would tell me why, and then she didn't after I went and got her. But we are going to help her. But Bill, thank you for holding so long. What is your comment?
Well, I guess after hearing the email and understanding the position now, my comment's kind of moot. But
what was it? What was it up till the change? And what do you think of the change? If you've been following me for the last 3 or 4 days talking about this, what do you think? What do you think's going on? After reading this, do you think she's hiding something? Do you think the apartment complex is just being bullying? What do you think?
I have my opinions, and again, like you say, it's your opinion. This is my opinion, that we have a fishbowl of ladies who are running the show up there, and they've been put into a corner, and they're acting like caged animals, and they are shutting down. I doubt you'll ever get anyone to the phone, ever, to discuss this matter truthfully, and that's a threat that they received from the attorney, and it's absolutely meaningless. It's sent to intimidate her, so that she doesn't do anything, and that she just puts her head in the sand and walks away.
And that's what she wants to do, unfortunately.
Right, and so they won. And so Miss Foss won. Because Miss Foss, that's Miss Dewey's boss.
Miss Do Nothing, I know.
Yeah, she's not answering the phone.
No.
And her whole echelon on the company structure is all ladies, and then everybody below her on the regional echelon is all ladies. And I think that there's even a bigger consequence here. I think that they'd be fighting EEOC problems with discrimination. I think that's why they don't want to crack their corporate veil.
Yeah, it's a very interesting deal. I'm just looking forward to getting it behind her. Like Daphne was alluding to or said, is at 73, moving. She doesn't have anybody to help her either. She doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have anything. By the way, we're also trying to help her get Social Security. She should have benefits from her husband that she was married to years ago for over 10 years. But, hey, I appreciate you holding so long time, Bill, and I appreciate all the work. It sounds like you really dug into this company. I appreciate guys like you really do help us when it comes to stuff like this. We can't do everything. When those phones go ape crap because we give the numbers out, because they basically lied to me. They did lie to me. You know what? They told me they'd give us a written statement. They didn't give us anything except for this. So, I mean, at best they change their mind constantly, but to me they're liars. So, anyhow, thank you for that. We can free up line 4. 303-713-8255. Katrina, what is going on with this stamped concrete?
Hi. So about a month ago, I had a stamped concrete patio poured by a company, and within 3 days after they poured it, I was already seeing some pretty significant cracks and crumbling. They got concrete all over my yard, as well as all over the siding of my house. I also then later found out they damaged my sprinkler lines, and they are not willing to fix any of it. I ended up having another contractor come out to tell me their opinion on it.
Why won't they fix it? What do they tell you?
They're saying it was done correctly.
Well, I'm looking at it, and this looks horrible.
Agreed. After I had another contractor come out, they even told me, because they did a lot of measurements on the incline of it, and it's sloping towards my house. And
well,
so
that's probably the biggest issue you're going to have, if that's actually sloping to your house.
Exactly.
Well, you better you've got to mitigate those damages. I mean, you can't let it sit there forever and try to go back on them in a year. What's the name of this place?
So it's Legacy Concrete.
Legacy Concrete. That's the whole name, Legacy Concrete.
Legacy Concrete.
Well, that's some legacy they're creating there. I mean,
right.
It's literally sloping to your house. If I go out there with a level, water will go towards your house.
That's correct.
And it looks like crap. John, come look at this bigger picture when I zoom in. What else?
And you know, the pictures don't do it justice.
I don't see where it's cracked, though. Where is it cracked?
So on some of those pictures, if you look along the stamp line...
What is this up against all the siding? Is that just them being messy as hell?
That's them being messy.
Oh, Dan, you've got to put these pictures up on our Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It looks so sloppy.
It looks like they never finished. I mean, it looks like crap.
Right. So at one point, too, they agreed to come back and do some cleanup. They still didn't do a very good job on the cleanup. They tracked concrete all throughout my front yard, which then killed part of my front yard. The unfortunate part is they have in their contract that they're not responsible for sprinkler lines.
Yeah.
But they never talked to me about
how thick was it supposed to be? How thick was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be pretty level with the ground.
No. What I'm saying is, one of these you have a measuring tape up, and it looks like it's 13 inches. Why do you have that?
Because the entire patio, when we talked about it, was only going to be at most maybe 4 to 6 inches off the ground. But then in other areas, it was going to be relatively flush with the lawn.
Oh,
and so it's significantly higher than what we had talked about.
This is unbelievable. I can't believe it's called Legacy. I mean, this is a crappy Legacy. Let's try to get Suzanne, see if you can get them to come on before. Maybe there's a completely different side to this. Hold on. We're going to try to get them on, all right, Katrina, so hold tight.
Okay.
Let's see what they have to say, but if you go to our Facebook page and then just type in Tom Martino's referral list on Facebook, find our live feed. Dan, keep putting those pictures up, but I mean, God, it's horrible. On the siding, did you see that, John? What would you do if you came home to that?
That wouldn't be a good day.
Oh, it would be a horrible day. I wouldn't have paid him. Oh, wait, let me ask her. Did you pay him up front?
So here's the bummer of it. So I paid half
okay.
when they started.
Yes.
And I was supposed to pay the other half once they poured it and completed it.
Yes.
Immediately after that, once I was able to get on the patio, because I couldn't get on it for 3 days after they poured it.
Katrina,
and
was
I
a
saw
simple
all of the issues.
Have you paid them in full?
I did.
Oh, my God. Hold on. Why do people do that? Folks, all you people in Colorado Springs right now dealing with the door knockers, because there's a bunch of you. So if you're driving around and you're listening to this and you have hail damage, you're waiting for a roofer to come out or you've already talked to one, these guys will trick you into signing the contract. They'll tell you and promise you the world, and things like this can happen. Just go to our referral list. Go to referrallist.com and type in roofers and use someone on the referral list. They've signed our code of ethics. They'll work with your insurance company. They'll do everything needed. Excel Roofing, Petrali Roofing, and we've got other ones down there. But don't pay up front. This is a perfect example. If she still had that last 50%, guess what? She would be holding all the cards. She's not holding any cards. Let's see if we can't get these bums on, Suzanne. Well, I say that. I don't know if they're bums yet. But looking at these pictures, they're horrible. In my opinion, they're horrible. SimplyFloorsInc.com is not horrible. You know why? They'll save you up to 40% on flooring. Hardwood, laminates, luxury vinyl tile, carpeting, ceramic tile, natural stone. SimplyFloorsInc.com. You can go right to their website and you can schedule an appointment. They'll bring the showroom to you. They'll do all their measurement, give you an exact quote. They're great people, save you up to 40%. They're cheaper than Lowe's, cheaper than Home Depot. They're a real company. They also have a showroom at 52nd and Ward, but I like to shop at Home Feature. That's how we did it when we bought our carpet, our life-proof carpet from SimplyFloorsInc.com, SimplyFloorsInc.com.
Read the letter. They sent her a letter.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. There's
Some of the pictures.
What'd you say?
Turn his mic off and start talking.
Oh, you had your mic on. Go.
It's off now.
It's off.
It's been on.
Okay.
So
They're on Team Dave Logan.
Who said? Wait, who's on Team Dave Logan?
Legacy Concrete.
They're on Team Dave Logan?
Yeah.
God.
And one of their pictures on their website has stain up on the concrete also. Sloppy. I mean, it's a picture on their website.
But they sent a letter to her.
Do I have that letter?
Yeah, if you got all the pictures that they
Here,
sent.
the screenshot.
I apologize for my behavior. It's not right for me to let my personal matters reflect how I treat my customers.
Oh.
I will apply your sealer for free, as well as bring in topsoil.
And build up around the outside of the patio.
When was this, May 7th? Why is she calling us now?
I will be there to wash the rest of the patio off. You guys have additional cleanup.
I am embarrassed by how I handled the situation. I got it. She left out something good.
Yeah.
Did he pull a Kalen Eccles on her?
That's exactly what I was thinking of. You know?
You like Kalen?
You realize you Google that dude's name anywhere in the country, the first thing that comes up is that Sleeves Brigade story.
Yeah, so good. Which button do you push to whisper in Suzanne's ear?
Control room.
Oh, so it is control room. Because she was asking me, and I'm like, I don't know what button to push.
I can't believe it. I mean, I wonder if she did call up Logan. Did she mention that anywhere in here?
No.
I don't know. I just noticed it on the website.
So she's got that tape measure up because it's 13 inches, whatever, and that's pretty high to step off, I assume.
That's 14 inches.
Right, that's a pretty big step off there. So that's what they said they were going to bring in soil and put it in there. It's a crappy job. There's no doubt. You know, could be fixed. That's a house.
Did I do Lent construction, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I did do Lent. Bright light, I did do.
Or
It's kind of an ugly color.
Can Solar,
Yep.
Centeno Schultz, Rockies, and Artie Grant.
That's going to be one hot sidewalk. A dark color like that?
You did mention Colorado Tinnitus, though, didn't you?
No, you were just talking about it.
Oh, you were talking about it, but you didn't go into a commercial.
I don't think I mentioned it. I mean,
You were talking about were there going to be a, I don't know, they mentioned something or...
Oh, you had talked about it just to us. If they should. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, their copy still has his date in it, and I think they canceled it. It's really hard doing those seminars in the summer. Summer is the hardest part. People are traveling.
Right. Yeah. So do you like lamb? I make these lamb steaks.
I like lamb chops. I don't know if
They're
I'm
lamb.
sure I've had.
It's a lamb chop. It's a lamb loin.
I love baby animals. Veal,
love
lamb,
That
love
stamped
it.
concrete call, he says he's been working with you and getting on the referral list. This isn't ringing a bell. Legacy Construction, Legacy Concrete, Robert Hofschneider.
I don't want him on the referral list with this kind of work.
Let me look. No, that would have been a while. Let me look.
Is he coming on though?
He's happy to come on. He's like, I've actually been working with Daphne.
Good.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, and he's been waiting, but yes.
Get him on. I want him
And,
on.
yeah.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Okay. Can he hear me? Did he hear me?
I don't care if he hears or not. He wants on the referral list. Well, that's it. You know, the good news is it's exactly how we're set up, though. He wants on. Once you get it back and you have a contract, what do? We run the background check. We check the reviews. We do everything.
Yep. This is just that.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Shoot.
Visit us online. Stop echoing.
Yeah, he was going to sign up, but he's been putting it off.
But, well, like I say, she didn't even mention, well, she sent the letter, but she didn't mention it, that they're going to, maybe they are trying to get it out.
Show, news, culture, Hollywood, and food. It's also
I'll be pissed off too. He said he's going to wash up that siding, and he ain't going to come out.
Talk Radio.
Well, I don't understand this text from so long ago.
It's not technically a letter.
I got to tell you about
Become the Banker. It's a seminar coming up. I want you to go check this out on their website, okay? It's Tom talking to the owner about Become the Banker and exactly what it is. It's an investment product, a guaranteed 4%. A guaranteed 4%. BecomeTheBanker.info. Just go check it out. Tom explains it. It's a very brief but a very concise video. It could be perfect for you. It might be something, you know, if you're in the stock market and you got other investments, there's no reason not to diversify. It's a guaranteed 4%. We talk about this every month because they do these seminars. You can go to their website, BecomeTheBanker.info, check out that video. You can sign up for their seminars, or you can call them up. You don't even have to go to one of their seminars. They'll do a free webinar with you. They'll just set it up with the time, and you'll sit back, you'll log onto their website, and they'll answer any question. A free webinar, a personal appointment, or you can go to one of the seminars coming up, but it all starts at BecomeTheBanker.info. The phone number is 303-779-6600. BecomeTheBanker.info, 303-779-6600. Once again, a guaranteed 4%. Now, oh, good, we've got him up. Let me pull Katrina back up. Hey, Katrina, I've got Robert with Legacy Concrete. He's listening right now, so I want to clarify a few things, and I'm going to bring Robert up. I found this text, which is very strange, in your email as well. It basically is addressed to you from Robert, and it says, I apologize for my behavior. And it goes on to say, you know, I should have never acted this way. I will be there to wash off the rest of the patio for you. Again, I am so sorry for my attitude. I'm embarrassed by how I handled this, regardless of what I'm dealing with. What is this about? Why did he write you this? Because this sounds like he really screwed up, and he's asking for you to, you know, forgive him, or at least he's making an apology. What is this?
Yeah, so right after I was able to get on the patio, so about 3 days after it was poured, and I started to see some of the problems, I called him to try to talk to him about it, and his resolution at that time was but he would come and set up a time to give me another bid to tear it out and redo it, and I said I wasn't okay with that.
Wait a minute. When he just finished it a few days later, you said, here's some of the stuff that still needs to be done. By the way, it's slanting towards a house, and he gave you a bid to get rid of it and redo it?
Yes. Well, at that time, I didn't even know it was leaning towards the house. I just saw the other problems.
Okay. What's he willing to do now? What's he willing to do now? Because we're going to find out from him in a minute, but according to this text, this thing was back on, like, May 3rd. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so it was poured on May 4th. And so the other piece to that he's apologizing for is while I was talking to him about that, I told him I'm going to put a hold on the final check until I feel like we have a comfortable resolution to this.
Yeah.
So he ended up blowing up at me because I was telling him I don't feel like I should be cleaning up the mess. I have big concerns about this. He started calling me a crybaby. He was cussing me out. He became really inappropriate.
Got it.
We ended up hanging up, and then a little bit later he showed up on my property. I look into my backyard. He's in my backyard without permission. And so I go out there, and he's continuing to be escalated. He's yelling at me, cussing at me, continuing to berate me. He ended up apologizing and calming down, saying his uncle passed away the night before, and so that's the apology of his behavior that he's talking about in that email.
Got it.
And so that was his attempt to make a repair, was giving me the sealant for free, offering to come and fill in the dirt to help raise the level, to balance out the height of it.
What area, Katrina, what area are you in?
I'm in Littleton, so off of Wadsworth and C470.
I would like, this would be good for Clint. Clint's good with this construction stuff. I want to have Deputy Clint come out and just kind of evaluate it, and I want to hear from him that it's literally sloping to the house. Meantime, I'm going to put you on hold, so Robert Hofschneider, who is, I assume he's the owner of Legacy Concrete. Hold on a second here. Let me do this and this. And Robert, I appreciate you coming on. Anytime a business owner comes on and someone's making accusations like this, it does tell me something about him, that at least he'll face the music and give his side of the story. You kind of heard what she's talking about. I don't care about, you know, if your uncle died and you blew up or you were in a bad mood the next day or something. I don't even care about that at this minute. What I care about now is if it's truly sloping towards the house, and then I'm looking at the pictures of the siding, there's cement all over it, and there's other issues. What are you going to do?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hey, so, and that's exactly what they are. They're accusations. You know, I did apologize for my behavior. I'm not going to apologize again. You know, I had a death in my family. She called and said, hey, I don't like the height of the patio. I said, okay, well, you know, you wanted one step to keep one elevation of your patio. And in order to change that and get it lower to the yard, we would need to put another step in the middle of the patio to get that outside edge lower. Oh, well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have went with a different option. I said, I understand that. I go, you know, your patio, her patio actually, her framework sat there for 3 days because it was during a really rainy week, and I never heard from her. You know, the framework was where it was at. All those frames were built up the way to the exact sketch of the project on the contract.
Is it actually sloping towards the house, though?
So here's the thing, and you know, I've actually, it's continuously, like you said, it was installed on May 4th, and it's been a while, right?
Yeah.
It's continuously, every time I hear from Katrina or hear from another source, there's another problem that she's saying she's finding. I've actually personally been out there. I power washed it. So the photos, she's actually posted a few photos online of like the day after, like she said, what was it, reported on a Friday, and on Monday she went to pictures while it stamped concrete. And, you know, if you guys have people in-house, they're going to know this. Well, when you stamp concrete, you have a release on that concrete that is really dusty and dirty, and it's all over the place. It needs to be washed off. So she's sending pictures of, she was going to wash it off herself, right? And as it like bubbles up, it gets real messy, it's real dusty, it's real dirty. I mean,
hey, Robert,
really is.
Robert, I get where you're coming from. You're saying it's a decent job, or at least to industry standards.
Well, you know, I'm not really sure what you guys are asking, but all I'm saying is, like, these are just, it's continuously something else. So I actually personally went out there, I power washed her house and everything. See, as far as the
Robert, hold on a second. Robert, this is like very simple. You're saying the job is okay, right?
Absolutely, yes.
If it is, Robert, give me a second. I shut up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Now, if it truly is slanting towards the house, do you acknowledge that is a big issue?
If it's slanting towards the house, yes, it is an issue.
Okay, that's it. You know, some of this little exterior stuff, here's where I want to put this. I'm just going to send someone out to look at it. It's no big deal. It's either going to be what Katrina is saying, which it's a horrible job and everything's wrong and it's slanting towards the house, or it's not, Robert. I have no idea. I have no dog in this fight either. So hold on tight, man. I do appreciate you coming on. You want anything else to say, and then hopefully you'll come back on with us after we get a report back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
no
cool. Hold on a second. Suzanne, grab his info. It sounds like we already have it. Katrina, we're going to send out Deputy Clint this week. Probably, I don't know, he'll call you after the show or he'll call you tomorrow, and we'll get something lined up. He's going to come out. The biggest concern I have is if it's slanting towards the house. John, would you agree with that? That some of the cosmetic stuff, I'm sure this guy can fix or do something. But as far as if it's literally slanting towards the house, that's a big problem.
Absolutely, and to even suggest that the frames were there for days before and that you should have somehow seen it, that's ridiculous.
No.
The bottom line is they had to do the finish work on the concrete, and it better be sloping away from the house.
That's it. I mean, to me, the biggest thing is going to be that slope. So let's get Deputy. Go ahead, Suzanne.
But I would like to see current pictures. If she's showing us pictures the day after they left compared to now, I mean, regardless of the slanting, that's a pretty messy job.
Well, that is a messy installation.
It's a horribly messy installation, and I'm taking Robert at his word that his uncle died, and he was having a bad day. I can dig. I can get it. You know, let's not forget Kalen Eccles and how that went down. That guy got so upset when he posted a review that he actually replied to the review. The only reason they're leaving a bad review is because I was boning his wife. In fact, she was coming after me like a bulldog looking for a bone. Kalen Eccles. Google him.
Is that wrong?
I mean, can you imagine that? He does a crappy job. It was paint. It was such a horrible job, it was unbelievable. Paint everywhere. His subcontractor did a horrible job. They took pictures and put it up online. Look at this horrible job. He replies to it with that crap. John, can we make this stuff up?
No, not at all. Unbelievable.
He goes after
here when it happened.
I can't imagine what got in his brain when he did that. He had, in my opinion, it had to be, I'm not even going to, I don't want to go back in time like that. It's absolutely crazy, though. All right, let me get her on hold. Katrina, hold tight. We're going to get someone out there, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you.
I can't wait. You're sure it's sloping towards that house, right?
I've had 2 contractors tell me that it is.
All right, we'll find out. I guarantee Clint will figure it out, no doubt. You hold tight. We'll evaluate the whole thing, and we'll go from there. Make sure we have her info, Suzanne. Helpforringing.com. 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 Why am I saying this? Because if you have tinnitus or you need a hearing aid, you might have not heard me the first time. Dr. Patty, Dr. Lisa are the best out there. In fact, they have these new hearing aids, and they'll come down and fit, and they'll make sure they're right, and you can actually take them for a test drive, see the difference. But it's a digital hearing aid that interfaces with your smartphone. And I don't mean just that Bluetooth. They do all kinds of things. The new hearing aids now are insanely cool. They're very small, they're all digital, and more importantly, they work. If you haven't had your hearing checked for a while and you've had hearing aids, there's a good chance the difference a new hearing aid could make would blow you away, possibly change your life. So go to helpforringing.com. The other thing is tinnitus. If you suffer from that ringing in the ears, that tinnitus, they have a new thing. I always say this wrong, I don't have it here, but I think it's called Dysynchra. It can actually get rid of the tinnitus in some cases. I mean, basically cure it. I don't think I'm supposed to technically use that, but I'm not always PC. But it can get rid of it to where you don't have tinnitus anymore. Dysynchra, Tom used it for a while. It helped him out quite a bit. You've got to check these guys out. Any hearing issues you have, Dr. Patty, Dr. Lisa, they run a great place down there. Helpforringing.com, 303-534-0163. 303-534-0163.
Sound effects that Drew did for
I'm glad I didn't have you play those sound effects again.
Those were so funny. It was like
I said, Drew, find me some ringing sound so I can do this. Next thing I know, I hear like Space Invaders. Beep, beep, beep.
And I'm like, I told you he was too young to know what tinnitus is. Do you know, Ross says it differently. He doesn't say tinnitus. He says
tinnitus.
No, he says.
You might be thinking of tendonitis.
No. It's the same word. He just says it differently.
Oh.
Some people call it tinnitus, some people call it tinnitus.
Yeah, tinnitus.
Yeah, maybe it's tinnitus. That's what he says, tinnitus.
Well, sure doesn't look like tinnitus.
Because at Excel Roofing, the owner Jay Gretz knows how to do business.
Okay.
That's why he never puts a cancellation.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come back with Lazara and talk criminal, and then I'm going to go right to you with some good questions.
What is that suicide thing? Is that something you guys are working on?
Oh, yeah. What is this suicide deal? Tell them on the suicide deal, I'll be coming to them soon.
So the daughter was found dead on May 26th. This just recently happened. The cops say it's suicide. They say it's murder.
Do they know the Clintons?
No, the Kennedys.
You heard that Andrew Bourdain, the chef, was about to release.
Oh, God, here comes the conspiracy of death.
Yeah, he was about to, he had sent a tweet out. I have information, and I'm releasing it about Hillary Clinton. And he's always been very vocal about them, and just.
This is the side of Daff we try to keep in the office. Right? We came in one day, and she was telling us how we were bombing North Korea. Because she was on some, whacked out website.
We bombed North Korea.
You cannot make a mistake around these guys.
A mistake? We're bombing North Korea.
It was.
That's a pretty big fucking deal.
It
happens. They got nukes.
Was there something I only heard the end of? Are we? And they turned it into.
She's also convinced we've never been to the moon.
Oh no, I am not one of those. I believe 9/11.
Contrails are very big.
No, I believe in.
I believe in contrails.
I believe in contrails. I believe they're there. My dog used to bark at contrails. He freaked him out. He would be like, what is that thing in the air?
What is that spray coming down on us?
Yeah, what is that? No, it's just a lot of people die around this.
I was going to do Lazara. God damn it.
Oh, Clinton.
Yeah, you said when you came back you were doing them. Oh.
I'm not going to do two back to back.
There you go.
I'll do buy and build.
Good job you're paying attention. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to this legacy thing. It just didn't click because I haven't talked to Robert in over a month.
I wonder, I should have asked where she got him.
Yeah, you should.
I wonder if she's still there. Hey, is she still on line one, babe?
Yeah.
Oh, she is. What was her name?
Katrina?
Hey, Katrina. Where did you find them? How did you find Legacy?
That application process, we go through it line by line, and that really allows us to do an effective job to make
sure. Okay, I'm going to ask you that back on the air. Hold on. And we are going to get Clint out there, so hold tight.
I got it.
Was it Dave Logan?
No, I don't even know what they were called. She said, I think she said Home Advisor. Home something, Home Connect.
You still have it on?
Good, so what? Oh, yeah, I do. They're on Angie's list.
Angie's list.
Home Advisor, Elite Service, and yeah.
Angie's list get paid by the referral. Is that how she does it or something?
Yes.
Nope, not anymore.
No.
No.
No, yes, they do.
They're both the Home Advisor model now since they combined. The business pays.
Angie's list.
Angie's list used to be you would pay.
Right. You belong to them.
Yeah, you pay to shop on.
Oh, and what I was going to say is Robert's uncle did die.
No, actually, just get her info. We'll have Clint. I don't have time. We've got this suicide thing and a million other things.
Oh, and the suicide thing, she was choked. Well,
hard to do to you.
Nobody beats buy and build, and I mean nobody. Below wholesale pricing, cabinets, countertops, sinks, toilets, faucets, below wholesale. You know, you can get a whole kitchen full of closets, a whole kitchen. Where the hell's that come from? A whole kitchen filled with closets. You can get a whole kitchen filled with cabinets at Buy and Build for probably, and I'm not kidding, 75 to 85% off what Lowe's and Home Depot, and they've got very cool stuff. Yeah, they got vessel sinks down there, you know, $30. They've got everything you can imagine. You got to get down to Buy and Build. Call them up, or actually, you know what? Go to buyandbuild.net. You'll see their hours. You'll see their dungeon where they have all kinds of stuff. I mean, stuff you can't believe down there. They do auctions all the time, but if you need cabinets, you need sinks, you need toilets, you need faucets, buyandbuild.net, buyandbuild.net. They're at 4800 Washington Street. We have got so much stuff going on here. This police deemed daughter's death a suicide. Dennis, I'm going to get to you, but I've kind of squeezed myself into this break. I'm going to get you after next break. I promise I'll get you up, and we're going to try to help you. John, I never thought of that. If someone says, your loved one or anyone, if the coroner says this was a suicide and you want to change it, I mean, you've got to convince the coroner, right? That's an elected position, is my understanding, in most counties. Do you know anything about it?
It is an elected position, and I think it can be an extremely uphill road to get them to overturn that decision. I'm looking forward to hearing the caller's story.
I am too. I want to take another call in a second, and we're going to give them plenty of time, but you just made me think of something else. I heard a commercial, you know, one of these late-night attorneys, as Tom would say, the big ass or whatever his name is this week, with some kind of, some kind of moniker that's some animal or something. So the commercial was kind of like this, and at first I thought, this is weird. I don't know if I agree with it, but then on second thought, I kind of do agree with it. He was basically saying, to paraphrase, and I'm paraphrasing, if you have been in an accident, whether you've been hurt or not, you should call an attorney. Period, end of story. If you've been hit by someone else, or you have been injured, you might be injured, think you're injured, could be injured, you see what I'm saying. At first I thought, I don't know if I agree with that. They're almost planting a seed like, hey, even if you're not injured, give us a call. In fact, it's not like they're almost doing it. They are doing it. But then that accident Suzanne and I was in, at first, we didn't go to the hospital that day. We ended up going to the emergency room the next day. She was checked out in the ambulance. You realize she had a broken deviated septum, a broken nose, and all kinds of stuff. When that adrenaline and everything's going on, and then I just started thinking, and here's where I'm going, and I want your opinion on it. I think if someone did hit you, and it's a pretty, you know, I'm not talking a little fender bender in the Walmart parking lot. I'm saying if you've got serious damage to that vehicle, there's a hell of a good chance a few days later issues can pop up. And I'm not kidding, and I don't want to say that like some quack, but do you agree with that?
Oh, I see that all the time. And I think the adrenaline is probably as much to blame for that as anything. But we all the time have people that get into an accident. You know, their gut inclination is to be okay and to not, you know, be looking for injuries, and they get home and the adrenaline starts wearing off, and the next thing you know, they can barely get out of bed the next morning, and I mean, that's probably 50% of my cases.
I would guess right now listening, there is a multitude of people that have been in an accident, whether it's been settled with the insurance company or it's still in the middle or they're waiting. They don't want to call an attorney because somewhere in their brain it's negative, like they're feeding off the trough, or it's like some kind of, they feel bad for calling an attorney, even if there's damages. I had one neighbor one time got hit. This was years ago, okay? He didn't have a lot of damages that he thought of, and he had good health insurance. He worked for Cisco. He had a great health insurance policy. He didn't go through the other driver. He got his car. It was totaled. He got that money and stuff, and basically just went through his own health insurance for the issues he had going forward. But he didn't realize it. He settled that whole deal with them, and honestly, they should have been paying out. And he kind of screwed his own health insurance company because really it was that other driver's issue that caused all of his back problems. And it just kills me. Why do you think people have that built into them? They just think for some reason. The first thing I did was call an attorney because I don't know. I don't want to deal with the other insurance company because they don't work for me. I know they're going to screw them. But what is that mentality in a lot of humans that says, I don't want to call an attorney because people are going to think I'm one of these slip and fall people at Walmart and fake injuries and all this. Oh, I got whiplash. Well, you might.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're touching on a lot of issues right here. I always tell people there's no moral defect in wanting to be treated fairly, and that's really what it comes down to. When you hire an attorney, when you've been in an accident, the bottom line is you're just trying to get what fairly and truly and rightfully is yours, and that's for the insurance company, for the responsible party to step up, do what it is they're supposed to do to fairly pay those claims, not to play games with you, not to deceive you or trick you or anything else, to just do what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
And that's the bottom line, is that we help bring an element of fairness to the table. We help people get the care and treatment that they need if they don't otherwise have it at their fingertips. We help make the insurance companies stand in line in the appropriate place where they pay the benefits the way and in the order that they're supposed to. These are all the things that an attorney can bring to the table that most people that get in 1 or 2 accidents in their whole life will never, ever have.
I take it for granted because I used you. I mean, if I called up, you'd be there. If you weren't there, I'd talk to, what's your assistant's name I came to know? But regardless, I always dealt with the same people. We get complaints all the time when people do go to the big ass or the small arm or whatever it is. We get the same, seriously, we get complaints all the time. They're always talking to different people. There's always kinds of issues out there. So don't take it for granted because you said people should get an attorney. Well, it's the right attorney, though. That's the other part you have to bring into it.
It definitely makes a difference when you have
You're like
access.
a boutique.
Well, we do one thing, really, and that's accident cases.
That's right.
And so I think we're pretty darn good at it.
We're really
good. All that we do.
Hey, I say it all the time in my spots. You got me policy limits. I couldn't have asked for more. Honestly, and you fought for it and you did it the right way. So I love it.
And I kept you from going down to the place of employment where
you did not like that idea, did you? So what he's talking about, at one point when they didn't want to pay out the maximum, the policy limits, I found out where the guy worked. Or the woman, I found out where the woman's husband worked. I'm not going to say where it was. And I said to John, I said, can I go down there and get in his face and talk to him? And what did you say?
Absolutely not.
He did not like that idea. All right, 303-713-8255. We've been talking about great contractors. And Kyle, we're going to come back to you guys. Or I'm sorry, Holly, we're going to come back and figure out what's going on with this coroner and the suicide. And Christy, she got ripped off over the weekend. The police impounded a vehicle. Looks like they sold a stolen vehicle, maybe. A problem with Parker Window and Screen, and a dispute with Cigna. Imagine that, a dispute with the health insurance. But we've been talking about bad contractors, good contractors, K&H Solutions. You know, if you get hit with hail, they'll do your roof, they'll do your siding, they'll do your windows. They're very good at what they do. And right now, Everlast Siding, $6,200 off your entire siding project, and windows 25% off your entire window purchase, and a free upgrade to triple pane glass. If you've been putting off that change, or if you get hit with hail at some point, Ted and the gang down at K&H are great guys. I sold him computers when I owned Mountain Peak. My God, 20 years ago I've known this guy. Ted is a wonderful man. He's done the windows at Tom's house. Geez, man, that was probably 5-6 years ago. He's done a ton of stuff. But this Everlast, lifetime durability, waterproof, color fast, it's impregnated. It's got a wide palette of different colors, rich cedar look and texture. It's a great siding project, and they're a great company. If you need siding, roofing, windows, K&H Home Solutions. K&H Home Solutions. You can go to khwindows.com, khwindows.com, or call them right now for a free estimate and take advantage of that. That is a true discount. 25% off your entire window purchase, free upgrade to triple pane, and Everlast Siding $6,200 off. 303-421-7100, 303-421-7100, or check them out on our referral list at referrallist.com.
Young people clipping off their own on both sides, pressuring and then fading. Yeah. You can actually hold it and they start getting dizzy and then they...
You want to get on?
It's a euphoric something. So I guess not.
What'd you say, Dan?
You want to get on Joel Zara for that suicide?
Describing
Suicide murder?
doing this intake for
Yeah.
medical malpractice case.
Hey, babe, can we see if Lazaro will come on for that suicide murder thing, and then I can build him in. I'm going to run out of time for these slots.
This lady was talking about trying to choke herself out and stuff. So we're
Theft protection has
trying to
added
keep her
more
alive.
security to help
Right.
protect you against
So we're like,
cybercriminals.
exactly
Protection
how
for
did
your
you do
identity
that?
and devices.
She got a pillow.
Enter promo code RISK for your expert
Oh,
deals.
he's trying to.
That was her committing.
Yeah. That was her effort.
Her attempt.
Choking herself out. We're just like,
You got to do better.
I've
Because this stuff was on the internet.
you're not really an overachiever, are you?
So do we want to get a name for you? I could put it out here and we'll get people like,
It's
John the what? Fuller. No?
I don't know that we want to do that.
The gopher. The beaver. The beaver. Just like the old show. You could be the beaver.
Tom called me that day, pocket gopher or something.
Pocket gopher? Really?
I'm like,
See, don't you
nip
wanna
that in the
kick-
butt right there. No.
Let's not
Don't you
set
want
a
to kick?
precedent.
Don't you want to kick Mark in the shins? There
So
are
you could-
times.
You could show up to court, and everybody would know your new moniker, the pocket gopher.
I'm the beef. The beef is here.
Think of the cred. Think of the street cred
Judge,
you have.
just call me the bee.
Hey, look, it's the bee. Oh, that would suck.
You go to that thing over, hey, beef!
That'd be better than pocket gopher, though.
When he goes to the big ass.
Big ass.
Lazara's in the meeting, but he said coroner's report is key to help to figuring that out. So.
I just wanted to, I understand all that. I just wanted to work.
I know,
it
you
in.
just wanted to work this
I found out how to whisper in your ear. I didn't want to push the wrong button when you were asking me. I
There's
was like,
whispering in the ear, and then there's over the intercom. So
yeah, I asked him. He said control room is how he talks. When you put your headset on, I'll double check it. He may be leading me astray.
yeah, you can put your live on the ear.
That's right.
And I think this, I looked it up, I think it was May 26th that happened. So it's only like 3 weeks ago.
Get started today at Indeed.com/shop.
That's terrible.
Oh my gosh. I don't think.
You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000.
I can't even
Here at Platinum Tax
think about it.
we're A+ rated.
They still have not.
There's some political components to coroners too. You know, they're very politically tied
Are
in.
they really?
Yeah, and not always in a great way. You
But
know,
why would they want to, because they don't want to go through the investigation, or?
Just a few $1,000s or
these people will claim some allegiance to some reason for not wanting to investigate. I mean, I've heard of stories.
To the cops?
Control room talks above. What's in her ear?
There's a boyfriend or something.
That's all you ever had.
connected in somewhere.
You just always say control room.
Really? Because you, when I do it, I don't hear it up in the control room. I hear
So that was your
oh, you're right.
why did they
I
cut
do
into
hear
it?
your
So
voice.
I don't know how.
They
You
have
are
to
the
do
voice in my head. You're right. It is
That's
awesome.
scary.
I don't have an interest in the home yet. I have a contract on it, but I don't have an insurable. So,
Can you imagine if my voice was your conscience?
God knows.
I'm just talking to you.
Okay!
I gotta tell you, John.
I'll do it!
That would be the funniest fucking movie ever. You take someone else like, who's that fat comedian that died from drugs who would scream the top of his lungs? Heavy set. Kinnison. Can you imagine if that's the voice in your head? You'd commit suicide. You'd grab that pillow you were talking about.
I got, what was her name here? Baxter. Justice Baxter is her name. Oh, it's terrible.
I want to tell you a quick success story. George Donaldson, Fix It 24/7. George has been in the HVAC and the plumbing and the electric business for a long, long time. He came back to Denver. He was in California building a company, huge company, sold it for a ton of money. He came back in Denver with Fix It 24/7. 700% increase in business in the first 6 months. Do you hear what I just said? And why do you think he can do that? Because he gives great deals. He does that tune-up. Right now, it's not the time to do a tune-up. They're just too slammed with new units and service calls. So here's what I am going to tell you. For $39, you'll get, here, let's put it this way. You'll get a licensed insured, a background checked, HVAC tech, or plumber. I'll do both. To your home for $39, okay? Now, they'll give you a full diagnostic repair right there in writing how much it's going to cost to fix it. They don't do by the hour. They're going to tell you it's this much to fix it. An upfront menu price of how much to fix it, okay? If you don't want it done, you're only going to pay the $39. So basically you get a diagnostic for $39. If you do get it done, okay, if you do get it done, they'll waive that $39. So in essence, it's a free call or charge if they come out and do the work. In essence, it is. So you get a free thing. But if not, if it's been broke or you have another estimate, give 24/7 Fix It a call. Fix It. God, I'm always going to say that backwards. Fix It 24/7. Here's the phone number. Ready? $39. 720-526-3939. 720-526-3939. They'll also give you a great price on a new AC unit. Like I said, diagnostics for $39 to get a licensed guy out there or a plumber. You can't get that anywhere else. $39. FixMyHome.com. FixMyHome.com. I want to jump into this one. Holly's been holding a long time. Holly, I'm going to come to you second because I believe I got Dennis, who is the actual father. Dennis, give me a little background here. I know very little about this before the call comes in, but what happened, Dennis?
On the 26th of May, my daughter was found in a bathtub in a house or the apartment right off of streets are unknown, but nevertheless, she was found there, and apparently there was a struggle. And we were told that she was raped and also beaten and murdered. However, the coroner is ruling it a suicide. We totally disagree with that. My father's a retired police officer. He disagrees with it, and I would like to keep the investigation going. With,
Dennis, where did this happen?
On Colfax, Harlan, and Colfax.
So Denver.
Lakewood.
Oh, Lakewood. Okay, Dennis, hold on a second. I'm going to bring you up right after this break. This is horrible. My condolences to you, and I am very sorry you're going through this, and we're going to see what we can do to help you. I have got a plethora of questions for you, though, so hold tight, all right, man? Hold on. I know you've been holding a while. All right, we're going to give this time next hour. By the way, if you're on a station that's dropping us, you can go to Referral List. I meant for the hour, of course. You can go to referrallist.com on Facebook. Or hit Watch Live on referrallist.com. But everybody hold tight. This is going to be a big one. And Brent, John, Kyle, Christy, you guys hold tight, too. I'm Mark Major. This is the Troubleshooter Network.
Is your credit score...
Maybe it's stopping you from refinancing to a better rate. Hey, guys, it's Ross Kaminsky, and I'm here to tell you there is more...
They said Fix It 24/7 wrong like every time.
Based on credit score alone, well, you called the wrong lender. At American Financing, they offer custom loan programs, down payment assistance...
Well, it makes no sense. If she was beat up and raped, or maybe that was days before, I don't know. I mean, God, who knows?
And whether you pay your bills on time. And if you're just shy of getting...
You know, when it comes to your...
It's kind of hard to rate yourself.
...on how to improve your credit,
there you go.
One step closer to a customized, competitive rate.
So at a minimum, there's got to be somebody else.
Your financial goals. Affordable home ownership is within reach. It just takes a 10-minute call.
You know, the cops aren't that great.
American Financing. 303
Lakewood, Jeffco,
or online at AmericanFinancing.net.
Boulder.
Boulder. They got a pretty big police department, don't they? For the size.
Yeah, they didn't do very well in Ramsey.
But they didn't.
God.
Yeah,
that wasn't exactly the crown
That
jewel
was
of
a
their
travesty.
Really.
You know what? You know what's weird though is some of those pictures of her at the pageants. I mean, man, what a weird life to be in.
Yeah.
You're right. That young. I mean, it's just so bizarre. What a whole different. I can't imagine my daughter when she was that age in any kind of thing like that.
Well, yeah, but different girls are different too, right? People
Yeah,
are
but
different.
you've got a 4-year-old's not going to decide to be in a pageant. It's going to be the
Is
mother.
that what she was for?
When she started that stuff, she was really little. I mean,
She was, yeah, singing and stuff. All I know is that the cops did a terrible job. Cops and DA did a terrible job.
well, they actually had an indictment and never did anything. Didn't the grand jury? Yeah, grand jury signed off.
Wanted to go.
And then the DA said no.
So it was really the DA, I shouldn't say the cops.
President comments coming at a meeting of the National Space Council, where he announced a new branch of the military.
It'd be a good movie and stuff because it would look like, holy Jesus.
Except then everybody that does something gets sued by the brother that.
The nut? The nutty brother?
Yeah. When they did that old expose
Did he
recently,
sue?
In the last
Yeah, but he
6
was the one that
months.
went on TV on.
Yeah. Dr. Phil.
He went on
No, he
Phil.
just went in like a year ago. Didn't he have another big?
No. They did. Someone did this
Like he went
expose
on
on
Phil,
him
but there was like a major network expose that was done.
that basically said he did it.
Yeah, and he sued them for that. I don't know what the status of that is, but.
Becky's Angels.
What do you think? You think he did it? I really have
He's an
no
odd
clue.
dude, man. There's something that.
Well, but think of what he's grown up with now.
I know, but that he was an odd dude.
Yeah, he's court.
But yeah, who else could have done it?
A lot of people have life
The husband, or the father, or the mother.
Because didn't she died from trauma, right?
The most, what that expose said makes the most sense. Basically, somehow he accidentally killed her or something along those lines. The parents freaked out because they didn't want to lose now their other kid forever, and the wrong decisions were made. Or maybe he did have a temper problem and he, pushed her down the stairs, not meaning to kill her. I don't think he intentionally murdered her.
Right. No, I agree with that.
But something went fucking really bad.
Would you let your daughter date that dude?
No. Are you crazy?
Might have to put a stop right there, John Benet Ramsey.
She was choked by a lariat. I mean,
Is that what they said in the final
conversation there?
I know.
Oh my
I
God.
was.
I thought it was trauma. I thought it was trauma.
Is that, so you think she was murdered?
Yes.
Who? The mother or the daughter?
Daughter.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
you
saying
think the
Patsy
mother?
died from the mother.
No. Patsy died of cancer.
Yeah.
We're talking about the brother of John Benet.
Oh, yes. Did you watch that show?
Yeah, how he's an odd bird.
Odd bird, yeah.
Yeah.
Protect you against
And he has been.
protection for your identity and devices. Go to lifelock.com.
And then I'm positive whether Mark would let him date his daughter.
Terms apply.
No.
Yeah, she sustained a broken skull from a blow to the head.
Who?
And she
And
got
had been strangled.
Yeah.
Who? The girl?
The girl. But I think she died from her broken skull.
So, like, she died from that, then they...
And they put a garret around there.
Like they whacked her and then choked her out.
Yeah.
God, that's amazing.
Always fresh for our customers.
She was only this big. I mean, I'm not kidding. She was like,
But there's
7?
all
How old was
kinds-
she?
Yeah, there's all kinds. I mean, she was still wetting the bed. Those are all things of being sexually
She was 6.
abused.
6.
6 years old.
So they did say
But her mother was a
How Boulder did fuck that up so bad.
beauty queen.
If you
She was
remember,
brought up
the father,
in the same thing.
they sent the father to look
I
for
mean,
her.
there were signs.
Yes,
that
the
pointed
cops
to
did.
brother.
And then he
Right.
finds her.
You know,
Right.
The entire thing
and
was
brings her
contaminated.
up
Yeah.
upstairs. Which is
The entire
Letter.
crime scene was contaminated.
Absolutely.
Because they told him to go look her out.
Apparently.
Horseshit. You know.
So, and it was sad. Sorry.
Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind.
We're here to solve your problems, answer your questions, take your complaints to the tune of over $200 million so far. Cash, merchandise, exchanges, refunds, you name it. That is what we do, and we do it better than anybody. In fact, I don't know of anybody else that does do it. Tom started this thing, my God, 40 years ago, just here in Denver. And like I said, that amount of money that has been collected is insane. Cash, merchandise, exchanges, refunds, services, $200 million. You get the idea. We've got a phone call going on, and I'm going to hop back to it here in a second, but it's unbelievable. This poor guy, basically what Dennis said was his daughter was beaten up and raped, and then the coroner has found it a suicide. I don't know. We've got to start connecting some dots. In studio with me, by the way, I've got John Fuller with Fuller Law. And, John, please chime in, as you know, anytime, and let's see what we can help there. But the person I want to talk to first is Brent Ivinson. And, Brent, I wanted to talk to you about one thing, okay? I'm trying to make a decision. We're in a 15-year mortgage, and we're coming up on the 5 years. So we're going to have 10 years left. Does it make sense? I know sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, to refi into a shorter term. How do you plug the numbers? If someone wants to go from like a 30 to a 15-year mortgage, can you tell them exactly how much they'll save in interest? And I know you can.
Well, absolutely. You know, and what it really comes down to is taking a look at the math, and does the math really make sense? Because we're going to look at the break-even analysis on that, because there are some costs that are involved, so we want to make sure that they're going to be there long enough to recoup those costs and that makes sense. And then we also have to look at the monthly payment and an affordability to make sure that it works for you. And as you know, there are your traditional 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30-year mortgages. We also have customizable terms as well.
Any term.
Kind of hit all those in-between points for you if you need be as well.
Yeah, which is really cool. If you think about that, if you want a 12-year loan, they can do it, and they'll do the math for you. I bet people do it the opposite, too, occasionally, Brent. And what I mean is, let's say let's say the spouse loses their job, or something changes in their cash flow. They're in a 15-year mortgage, and they've got a payment of, say, $2,000, $3,000, whatever it is, and they want a lower payment. They could actually stretch it out to 30, and their cash flow would actually change massively.
Well, that's right. You know, everybody's situation that calls our office is different, and so that's why lending specialists are salary-based. You can have an open conversation about what it is you're really trying to accomplish, and we'll go to work to solve that for you with your home loan.
And they do. They work their ass off. I appreciate it, Brent. Custom term loans, you know, they have credit optimization. They have the rate guarantee. They're pre-approvals like shopping with cash. Just call if you're thinking about refinancing. Even if you're already dealing with someone, you hear us talk about these guys all the time. For your ideal home loan, call Ideal Home Loan. 303-867-7000. It doesn't get any easier than that. 303-867-7000. Thank you, Brent Ivinson. Ideal Home Loans. You can always find them on our referral list at referrallist.com. I'm going to hop right back to Dennis. Dennis, this is just a crazy story. So, did everything happen that one night? Dennis? Oh, somehow I
got Holly and not Dennis. I'll call him.
Well, where's he at? Just Holly, fill us in a little. What is going on?
His phone died, and he doesn't have a place to charge it. So I guess it's me.
All right,
so talk to you.
So what happened to his daughter? Give me a timeline. When he said that she was raped and beat up, but then it said that the coroner, it was ruled a suicide. I don't understand.
Okay, so on the 26th is the day she died, and so we got the coroner report, so we know the people, we don't know, but he knows the people that were in the house at that time. I mean, these are people that live on Colfax that, you know, run the streets, so it's not a very good neighborhood, you know, it's a drug house.
Okay.
You know, like a lot of things happen at that house, but, so he's, you know, there's a lot of people on those streets that are telling, you know, their stories of that night. And the cops not taking, you know, questioning or anything. They're just going with that they think it's a suicide. But I was trying to get your email so I could send you the the autopsy report, and you would see that, I mean, me looking at it looks like, I mean, the way they said that she died, she was hanging from okay, so there's the showers that disconnect, you know, from the faucet up top.
Yeah.
And, you know, the cord on it.
Yes.
So they're saying that that's how she died, by suicide, that she strangled herself with that.
What does the police report say? Have you read that?
So we can't get a hold of and that's the other thing why we're trying to contact you, is we've tried to contact this detective. I mean, I've called, Dennis has called like over, you know, 10 times, leaving these guys, and all the family's calling, and nobody's getting back to us about anything.
Holly, a couple questions. He mentioned, Dennis did, so unfortunately his phone died, but he said raped and beat up. Why does he or you think she was raped and beat up? Is that in the police report?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what it says.
Why do you?
Nobody will get back to us.
But why do you think that?
Because of the stuff that we've heard of the people that were in the house that when it happened.
All right, so basically from a bunch of druggies hanging out on Colfax is where that information's coming from, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, those people are druggies, and they do talk, and
no,
you know
I'm
what
sure.
I mean? And so it's like.
Why do you?
know, I feel like the.
Do you?
Go ahead.
So I'm sure Dennis, because it's his daughter, wants someone held responsible for it.
Right.
That's the reason why he wants it changed in the coroner's report. John, I don't think. I mean, the
But let me tell you, there's more info.
Please, what is it?
So also it says that she overdosed. So how do you overdose and strangle yourself with a shower hose at the same time?
I just have to see the coroner's report. I mean, it would spell out.
If you have your email,
yeah.
I mean, and then I
live.
can send it to you.
It's live at troubleshooter.com.
Okay, and then also I'm going to tell you one thing before I send it. It says, you know, opinion, the best manner of death is combined with drug intoxication, and the best manner of death is best classified as suicide.
Yeah.
And then if you read other stuff in there of how they reportedly found her,
yeah,
the reports are what those druggies are saying how they found her in the house.
We're going to look at it when it comes in. And although I'm very skeptical because I understand where Dennis is coming from. I mean, it's his daughter. You don't want to believe that she committed suicide. But I don't know. I mean, just the drug overdose, let's look at it. I don't know what we can do about it besides one thing. There's one thing I think we can get done for you. Deputy Daff, if the police officer or the detective or whoever's in charge of this or looking into it, there might not even be a case open for all I know. John, generally if there is a suicide, do you know? I mean, is there a detective on it? I mean, once it's to the point where the coroner is saying, how do they get there? He reads a police report. He does an autopsy. He figures out why they died. But is there an actual detective involved?
So what normally will happen, and it depends on the jurisdiction, is, you know, for any death, the police are going to come out and investigate. It's eventually going to go to the coroner for a determination of the cause of death, and then the district attorney's office will make the call on whether they want to pursue that or take it in front of a grand jury or
well, and if it's a suicide, there's no one to go after.
Yeah, and so likely the DA's office would, and the DA's office was likely involved really early in the process. I mean, earlier than the completion of the autopsy, just during the investigation phase. So they've had some situational awareness of this throughout the autopsy and, you know, pending the results and stuff. So I mean, it's not like they just in a vacuum.
Now let's stretch this out a little.
Can you tell me that email real quick?
Yeah, live, L-I-V-E, at troubleshooter.com. Just like it sounds, live at Troubleshooter. Okay. John, hold on a second, though, Holly. John, let me ask you this. Why, they're basically saying that the coroner, you guys, Holly, you don't think the coroner did his job right or her job right, correct?
No, I think that the coroner did their job and said what the causes are from, but I don't think the cause is suicide. I think the cause is that somebody hurt her, strangled her, and then made it look like a suicide.
Okay. I would guess.
That's what we think it is.
But what he does for a living is the toxicology reports, the examination of the body. What that office does, I mean, I would think they're pretty good at it. What I'm getting to is, for what reason would they misclassify it, or you think it's simply just a mistake?
No, what I'm saying is, so they did classify it as, you know, drug intoxication and hanging. I mean, they say the people that were in the house say she was found hanging from that shower cord.
Okay.
With her, you know, basically like her back.
So what are you saying? You can't do a bunch of drugs and hang yourself? Is that what you're saying, Holly?
I'm saying that she wasn't that type of person that would do that.
Okay. Well,
we don't believe it.
When's the last time you saw her?
Heard. I mean, a few months ago.
All right.
I mean, and she has, you know, she.
How bad was she on?
We think.
Holly, how bad was she on drugs? I mean, she had a huge problem. It sounds like.
She could handle herself, so you couldn't really tell.
Well,
what was she taking?
Yeah, what was her drug of choice?
I mean, they said they found, like, you'll see it in the report, that they found, like, methamphetamine and
heroin and...
Well, a lot of times, once that meth is introduced, it's got everything in it. I mean, really.
Well, we also see what we want is the police just to listen to us and maybe question just a few more people on this, before they just rule it out. There are people, we know who those people are. We could direct the police to them, but the police aren't calling us back.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Suzanne,
this guy, certain people hurt her.
Holly, we're gonna look at the autopsy report. So hold on. Suzanne just said you emailed it and we got it. So hold on for a second. Just kind of taking an overview of this. It's a very upset father. I don't know really what we can get done. I would hate to think someone did murder her and they don't know, but it doesn't sound like that to me. John, don't you think these coroners are pretty good at what they do in general? I mean, I don't know. I've never worked in one of these offices or anything.
Well, the coroner in this case may have just basically confirmed the manner of death, but without, I mean, whether somebody did that to her or not,
it's asphyxiation, whatever.
It's still, the tox reports are still going to be problematic and stuff. So.
Shouldn't there be a police report, though?
Oh, there is. I guarantee you.
Yeah. So we need to try to find that police report.
That's really where I was going. Try to figure out what detective. We'll read through this autopsy or kind of glimpse at it. Maybe read it after the show, but.
And it may not yet be available.
What?
The police report.
Oh, that's possible.
I mean, this is really pretty early on in an investigation.
And we're going to need the name of the detective, too, and all that, Holly.
Yeah, she'll get that. So, Suzanne, let's get that. We'll read through that. We'll get back to her. Let's do that. We need to read through this autopsy. Having her back up right now makes no sense whatsoever. Brent, Christy, John, Kyle, I'll get to your calls next. I promise. Al Aramis with Pro Auto. Albert, how are you, sir?
Hey, fantastic. How you doing for a good, nice Monday?
I'm doing great, man. Hopefully you had a good Father's Day, did you, sir?
Yeah, I did. I got spoiled by the kids. They treated me great, bought me lunch.
Excellent.
You guys are doing good. I can't wait till next year.
All right, so what are you going to offer the listeners today? I heard you got mad at me when I did one last week, but that's okay.
You killed me, Bones.
Okay.
That's okay. But, hey, here's the deal. We see so many people right now hitting the road. They're going on trips, going on vacations.
Summertime.
And they overlook a lot of stuff. And what you really want is a comprehensive inspection. That inspection includes looking at all your belts, your hoses, your fluids, your tire pressure, your brakes, your lines, everything, your charging system, battery. Why have something like that fail in the wrong times? That's called a road trip inspection. So I want to do that inspection. I want to also rotate the tires on the car if it needs it. And I'm going to do that for $19.95.
So a full inspection on the car. Are you going to top off fluids?
Everything, yeah. Include the fluids with it, all the supplies, everything that goes with it. $19.95. My guys are going to spend about 45 minutes to an hour on your car.
Make sure it's in good shape.
Basically,
so belts, hoses, coolant, radiator. You just got to make sure everything's good. You going to pressure check the radiator?
No, we basically check it for leaks. If we have to, if we see that it being a problem, we'll do that. But, if it's leaking, that's something we want to bring to your attention. We don't want to have problems down the road.
Man, that's excellent. All right, first 5 callers, 303-PRO-AUTO, 303-PRO-AUTO, summer road trip inspection, we'll call it. $19.95. They're also going to have the rotate the tires, top all the fluids. And the important part is you'll know your car's ready to go if you're going on a long trip, because you break down in the middle of Kansas or in the middle of Wyoming, it's going to cost you a fortune. Go to the people I trust, okay? Go to Pro Auto Care, 303 Pro Auto, multiple locations. Al and his family run a great business, 303 Pro Auto, 303proauto.com.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. Some slow spots on the Highway Drive in the metro area, westbound I-270, slowing down.
I don't like it's a good deal. It's a good deal, but at the same time, it's like people don't, I don't know. We'll see. Is that the thing?
You want to email to him?
No.
In a serious crash that has Highway 119 shut down.
So, she was definitely choked. She's got red, purple from her on her neck and stuff like it. So, right. But what I'm saying is that didn't happen after death. Otherwise, it would have been bruising.
630K How. LifeLock Identity Theft Protection has added Norton Security to help protect you against cyber criminals.
There's so much suicide.
Go to lifelock.com.
The ones that amaze me are the ones that are very successful.
You know, I think what that is because they don't have anything to look forward to. They feel
like Robin Williams. I bet just living in his skull,
and that too
was insane. He was. I heard someone say a guy like him, from a very young age. I mean, he got into this early, man. He was always on, whether he's at a party, whether he's at home, whether he's in front of the camera, whether he's on a movie. Even when they're done doing the movie scene, he's still on. He's always on.
People couldn't keep up with him.
No, but he felt the need to always be on. He couldn't just shut off the Robin Williams. God, what a sad
They're talking about being beat up. It says in there those bruises were old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's always these people that just don't want to believe their family member would kill themselves.
Well, look at all the drugs in the system.
But I think where they're coming from is, look, this was a drug addict that they're trying to sweep under the rug and just, you know, chalk it up to a suicide. I mean, like, they feel like she's not getting the same attention as, I don't know, a white suburban woman who would be found hanging from a shower.
Well, and there's a lot of truth to that. If they're drug addicts and live in a drug house, I mean, and there's drugs in the system, and it's got nothing to do with the color. It's got to do with where the hell they're at, right?
Larson Tax Relief. Relief from your tax debt problems. Larson will get you the absolutely best possible resolution. You won't have to worry about
What do you make of it, Johnny?
losing your house. Larson will get between you and the
I'm going to ask you
They'll
about it.
save you thousands and thousands of dollars. I trust Ron and Jack Larson and their team of experts. And
How long is that coroner's report?
She still has her She still has her Facebook on. You want to see what she looks like?
That's 844
Yeah.
Larson Tax. 844 LARSON Tax. Larson Tax Relief is the only tax relief.
Put her picture up in the stream.
On my referral list at referralist.com.
What? No? You don't think so?
Afternoons 4 to 7. It's like a variety show. News, culture, Hollywood, and
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
humor and serious. Tune in 4 o'clock from wherever talk radio.
The GoFundMe that was put up says at this point our parents can't be located. Who the hell is Dennis?
Oh, yeah.
That's Gertrude.
Back to you. One thing I said that I would never do.
Genesis Total Exteriors, home improvements of all kinds. If you need the following. Watch how fast I say this. John, hold on, sit down. I don't want to over-impress you. Ready? Siding, windows, gutters, painting, fences, and decks. You know what he does on the inside? Kitchens, baths, basements. You like that? Did you see that? Now I'm going to run them all together. Ready? Siding, windows, gutters, painting, decks, kitchens, baths, basements, large and small improvements of all kinds. Mark Szymanski will do a pop on your old house if you want and add a floor. Anything you need done at your house, GenesisTotalExteriors.com. Mark Szymanski is the owner. He's been with us for years and years and years. He has passed the test. He is a good man. When there has been issues, which have been very few, guess what? He has taken care of them. He is the man. If that storm damage is affecting you, they can inspect the roof, the siding, the windows, the doors, everything. And if you're remodeling, this is the guy to call. Ready? 303-679-6509. The owner's Mark Szymanski. 303-679-8509. You can always find him on the referral list at referralist.com. I'm going to kind of put this one to bed for right now, but we read the coroner's report. John, just you kind of breeze through it. What did you learn from it in a nutshell?
Well, I mean, you never know,
of course not,
from a coroner's report what exactly truly happened, but it's one of those things where the totality of the circumstances just didn't really support the idea that somebody else did this to her. It looks as if it was a self-induced hanging, and it looks like there were quite a few other factors going on in this young lady's life, and it's very hard to say.
There was a lot of drugs in her system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that if we ever got access to the police reports and stuff, which we may not for some time, that probably would tell the other half of the story, and we'd have a lot better idea. But based simply on the coroner's report, their conclusion was that it was a death by suicide.
Deputy Daff, let's just try to get the police report when it's available. We'll follow up. Now, Suzanne, you said something interesting during the break that Drew told you, that they had a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
and what does it say?
It was posted last Monday saying at this point her parents haven't been located, so maybe from Monday to whenever Dan lined the call up, because, see, I was supposed to originally call this guy last Thursday, and he didn't answer, and then today he called.
But I'm lost here. What would the GoFundMe be for?
To raise money for a funeral, to get her buried.
I got you.
Properly.
All right.
Or cremated or something.
All right, 303-713-8255. John, you've been holding forever. How can we help you? Whoa, I'm putting John back on hold after.
In the yard.
I think he was on a lawnmower, like John just said, though. I'll try him one more time. John, are you there? Okay. See what you can figure out there. Meantime, Christy, this sounds horrible. What happened? Christy.
Oh, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
Okay. Okay, so Friday, I purchased a truck from a gentleman off of OfferUp, right?
Hey, Christy, you're coming in and out like it's crazy, so find one place.
Okay. So on Friday, I purchased a vehicle from a man on OfferUp. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, you purchased a vehicle from a man where?
Through the OfferUp website.
Never heard of it, but okay.
It's a local.
Okay, so it's where you buy and sell things.
Like the Thrifty Nickel?
No, it's like a mini Craigslist, super local Craigslist.
Got it.
Right. So I purchased it. I was driving it to my house, which is not that far. Like I purchased it with the apple Clay and
what kind of vehicle?
And I live.
What kind of vehicle is it, Christy?
It's a 1998 GMC Sonoma.
And how much did you pay for it?
We paid $500.
And you gave them cash?
We did.
So $500 for a 98 GMC, it sounds like a hell of a bargain. So what happened?
So I'm driving it to my house. My boyfriend was following me in the car, in my car. And we got like to Cedar Avenue and Zunai Street.
Yep.
And I was pulled over.
Okay.
Okay. So we figure it's just a regular traffic stop. You know, I know that the tags on the plates were expired. We hadn't taken off the plates. We just drove it to my house. Well,
so they sold it to you. They sold it to you with the plates on?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did. So I give him my driver's license. I give him my proof of insurance, and I give him the title to the car because we had just purchased it. And I tell him, like, the reason I'm driving it with the expired tags right now is because I just bought it, you know?
Yep, so you show him the title. That's good. You had the title.
Yes.
So now what? What happened?
Yes. So he leaves, and like 6 more police cars pull up, and they ask me if they can search the car, and I tell them no. And then they say, well, you know what, we don't need your permission to have a dog do an open-air sniff on it. Okay, well, bring your dog.
Your phone's acting up again. So they wanted to search it. You said no, but they brought a dog out. Did the dog go off on something, then they searched it?
No, I don't believe so, and I don't know what it looks like if a dog...
Did they end up searching the vehicle?
Yes, they did.
What did they find in the vehicle?
Nothing. To my knowledge, because they only gave me a ticket for expired tags.
Okay, so they gave you a ticket. Okay, I have no idea where this is going. Christy, so what happened? How can I help you?
They impounded the car.
Why?
That's what I want to know. They said that they...
How the hell would I know why they impounded it? Honestly, you must know more information than me. What happened?
Just get to the end. You called the impound yard, and what did they say?
I called the impound yard, and they said that that a hold was been placed on it by the gang unit. Now, I don't understand why a hold would be placed on it by the gang unit.
Okay, hold on, John. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Christy, what that tells me is there are certain area designations, there are certain vehicles that have been used in the past in gang-related activity, and that VIN has come up hot on one of their list. And so they're holding that pending some investigation of it. Now, you should be able to clear that up through the DA's office in Denver, because that's where the gang unit resides, and hopefully end up getting that vehicle out of there. If not, the $500 lesson would be, you know...
So it's been, an example, John, would be, it's been tagged somewhere. that it was used in a drug deal or a gang member thing or a drive-by or something.
Sometimes in Denver, let me give you an example. Let's say you borrow your mom's car and you go out and you get in trouble in some gang-related something. You're in the wrong place, wrong time, whatever. Maybe you get popped with a little small amount of weed, even though that's not illegal now,
whatever.
But it's something minor. That car, that VIN gets put into the system, and in the process of dealing with that little baby charge or baby case, they sometimes will put a gang area designation on that vehicle, and it says you can't go in this certain location in Denver. Don't, thou shalt not go here or there. Well, that stays with that VIN, and so these cops likely ran that VIN, and it was still titled in the old owner's name, so it likely popped up as either a person that had a gang designation or that vehicle had a gang designation, and merely signing it over to you doesn't change the fact that from the purpose of that cop running it, it's going to come up with all the old stuff.
So, Christy, it sounds like, long as you had nothing to do with why it's in that marked or whatever you want to call it, it sounds like you'll eventually get it back. I mean, are they telling you that?
Yeah, that is what they're saying, but they're going to charge me for impound fees and all this other stuff associated with it when, look, it would have been real easy. Why did they search it anyway?
I don't know.
My question.
Well,
why would they search it anyway?
Because it was tagged. We already know because it was tagged.
They searched it because they wrote you a citation, which gave them arguably the ability to search the vehicle. So, the search may or may not be illegal. I will grant you that. You're in Denver. Welcome to Denver. But with the car that's got that designation, I don't know if they brought the dog around, if it did hit on something or not. That's, there are a lot of different ways cops can end up searching your car. But the real story, as far as your impound fees are, in Denver, you're likely not going to get those waived.
Yeah.
And for a $500 car, you might just move on and start looking for another car.
It's probably going to that. I'll tell you someone that can answer, this question for you, though, Christy, perfectly, all right? It's Joe Lazare. I'm going to give you his number, okay? In fact, hold tight. But if for anybody out there, if you've been accused of any crime whatsoever, Joseph A. Lazare, you hear me talk about him all the time. But this caller, Christy, I'm going to give the number out in a second, but just call him up and ask him his opinion on it. But I think he's going to tell you exactly what John is, but make sure. But Joseph A. Lazare, if you've been accused of anything, a DUI, I say this somewhat jokingly, but really, I mean, you get into it with your neighbors, something happens, your kid hurts somebody, any criminal activity whatsoever, domestic violence, you name it, you need a good attorney, and Joseph A. Lazare is the best out there. This is one of those numbers, and Christy, you do this too. I want you to write it down so you have it if anything happens, if you're ever accused of a crime. And DUI is definitely his specialty, but he does any criminal things. And if you're being investigated right now or there's a matter going on, I definitely hope you call him. But it's Joseph A. Lazare, 303-429-6200, 303-429-6200. You can always find him on referrallist.com. Brent, Christy, Kyle, John, everybody hold on. We're going to get right to the phones after this.
This is Denver's Talk Station, 630K.
6 police cars, she said, showed up.
And
It had to have been
Denver
something.
does some shady stuff like that.
Yeah.
She's screwed.
Oh, yeah.
She might get lucky if she even had the ability to get the car back.
I had a client, he spent 6 months in jail on a stop just like that. Jeez. I finally got the shit dismissed and stuff, but it was,
it took 6 months of his life.
6 months.
That coroner's report did say she had broken ribs.
Yeah,
That's
it could have
the thing.
happened when she hit the
But
damn
it didn't
faucet or
show.
something,
It didn't show anything. Where did they get the rape? Because
It shows, and that it says in there too. She looked all normal.
everything looked normal, vaginally,
Toilet.
anal, everything is copacetic. So I don't know.
I think she was beat up before she killed her, like within weeks. Or
And
something.
yeah, and that might have been the thing that.
We'll see what the
Yeah,
police report
risk
says.
it.
I don't know what
Throw it
cops
down,
do, though.
throw it
You
back.
walk into a known motel drug room with, what do you do?
So, Mark, this John guy, I'm going to make sure he's there. He was like, I was just working because he's been holding since the beginning of the show. His 5-year-old stepson is suicidal in the hospital, and they won't let him see his stepson.
I don't think a 5-year-old could be suicidal.
I
Seven. He's 7. He said
Well,
5 again?
Your thing said 5.
Right, he said it's just turned 7. I thought he's
yeah, I'm just going to say, it's a good call. He's been holding the longest. I know you went to him. And
I talked to him this morning. The mom was a nutty.
I think Dan, prior to Dan joining our team, we only got normal calls. We only had regular, normal people with contractor problems and stuff.
What are you saying?
He somehow he's like a magnet to nuts.
I'm a nut magnet.
I want to bring him to a mall sometime and just follow him and see if the nuts just start coming towards him.
Looks like a crash there to watch out for.
Well, they make the best radio. Sometimes. No, he's really...
You know, my favorite nut they called up, and they weren't really a nut, was a homeless lady I brought those candles and batteries to. She said, I'm homeless, blah, blah, blah. You know what she asked for, John? Most of them asked for money and everything. I said, well, what would make your Christmas a little better for you? She fucking couldn't have said it better. Batteries and candles. So I went to Walmart. I picked up batteries and candles and literally delivered them to her in her tent in Colorado
and then
Springs.
found a little girl living in there, too.
Yeah, so it turned into a much bigger story. And the tent next door was a minor.
And she later disappeared, the little girl. No, I was kidding.
You know, we were talking to that poor man, Dennis, who thought his daughter was murdered, and, you know, the coroner's saying it was a suicide, but it made me think of drug addiction. We were looking at that report, and my God, she had heroin, and she had, not crack, but methamphetamines and everything. If there's anybody in your life that is struggling, it could be alcohol, it could be pills, it could be meth, it could be anything, and you've tried to talk to them, and it's just not working. I mean, these are serious drugs. Most people, let's face it, it could end up in a suicide. It could end up in real trouble with the law. It could end up in just an overdose. We see this constantly on TV now. It's all over our schools. It's everywhere. Tom and I got together with the Raleigh House. We came up with this phone number. This number is for you to learn how to talk to an addict, so hopefully they will get help. Do you scream at them? Do you force them? I don't know the answers. I'm sure everything is done on an individual basis. I know that if they do get into the Raleigh House, they do everything medically too. Behavior, medical, you know, blood work, nutrition, supplements, environmental, individual plans, group plans. Family and friends are there to help. But this number is to help you talk to an addict. So if you've tried numerous times, if there's someone in your life that won't change their ways and they're headed on a very destructive path, this number is for you. And hopefully you can get through to them so it doesn't end up like that caller. 720-893-5559. Write it down. Maybe you want to think about talking to them. Maybe you've got questions. They've got the answers. The Raleigh House, 720-893-5559. Okay, let's get back to John. John, what's going on?
Yes, sir. This is regarding my son, my stepson. He's just turned 7 years old a couple months ago.
Okay, 7-year-old kid. Go ahead.
Correct, sir. All right, of course, there's two sides to every story, and I strongly
Well, give me one side.
Check into it. Okay, our side is this has been going on for about a year and a half. No, excuse me, a year and 2 months. Well, exactly 8 months. Okay, our son had been taken away. Yeah, we did something in the past, and that now is corrected.
Why was he removed? Just tell me.
Okay, he was removed because his mom had done drugs. But like I said, that's in the past.
Okay, but so the kid. Hold on a second. Let me ask a few questions, John. So there was some form of neglect, and then social services got involved and removed the child. Did you guys get the child back after that?
No, sir, we haven't.
Okay, so
We're still fighting.
But am I correct in that the child was removed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but the problem they removed him from, drugs or probably a multitude, it has been corrected. In other words, the mom is no longer on drugs.
Correct.
And you?
Correct.
Okay, so keep going.
Okay, they gave her a line of things to do. She has done it. She has been clean for over a year.
Does she have a social worker?
Pardon me?
Does your wife have a social worker?
Yes, she does.
So she went, does the social worker acknowledge that she's gone through the whole list, checked everything off, and everything's good?
Correct.
Passed the UAs, everything?
Correct.
Okay.
In a sense, they have knowledge of it. Let me put it that way. They have knowledge of it. She got her place, a beautiful home for her and our son, and they haven't, for 4 months, they haven't gone down, checked it out, or anything like that. She has done what she's doing, but the moral of the story is they do not let her see our son. It's been about...
Where is your son?
He's in social service right now.
Will they do visits where, you know, long as there is a, what is that called, not a liaison?
Supervised visits.
Well, supervised visits, but they usually appoint
guardian ad litem.
Thank you, a guardian ad litem.
Okay, no, they don't. They don't allow supervised visits. His birthday, like I said, a couple months ago, she couldn't even go down and take him a birthday
John,
present.
there's a reason they're not, though. I mean, whether they're correct in it or not, generally, if they're not going to allow a supervised visit, they're hopefully thinking for the child. And I know this isn't what you want to hear, but they're thinking for whatever reason, it's not going to be a good thing for you or your wife or whomever we're talking about to see the child. They're hopefully looking at the best interests of the child. Once again, I don't know if it is or not, but that's what they're looking at.
Okay, I understand. Said that.
How can I help you, though, John? I mean, this sounds like a horrible story. You guys went down the wrong path. It happens. People make mistakes. The kid got taken away. It sounds like everything is getting corrected. I would think eventually, if you're right, you'll get the kid back.
Okay, okay, you're right on that sense.
John, how can I help you?
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that they do not let us see our son.
Okay.
They don't have visitations.
I understand.
We can't go visit him. That's the main thing. The main thing is his concern. He is threatened that he will never see us again. It came to a point that he's talking about suicide. He was in a hospital Friday night. We couldn't go see him. We couldn't have no contact with him. That's my point. We cannot visit him. We cannot talk to him. We cannot call him.
John, listen to me. Listen, man. Seriously, listen to my words. Listen. Do you realize that you guys pretty much have raised this kid? You had the issues. The reason he's in there is because of a lot of your actions. Now, I realize you guys are trying to help yourself now, but they don't think it's best for you to see that kid right now. This is a product of you, man. This is a product of your wife. Now, it's great you guys are getting on the straight and narrow and trying to get better. I applaud that. But why do you think they would not want you to see him unless they didn't think it was good for the kid?
Okay, that's said and done. But we're talking about the kid's mental health. He wants to see his parents. Why?
How do you know he wants to see you guys? How long has he been gone?
He's been gone for a year and 2 months.
How would you possibly know? When he was gone, he was 6. He probably doesn't even remember too much if you guys haven't seen him in a year plus.
How do I know? He stood 8 months with the mother's sister. He asks for us. I'm a 7-year-old kid. You think he wouldn't want to see his parents or his mother?
John, I don't know. But I know this is a product of what you guys... How can we help you? I'm not going to be able to convince the state to let you see him, nor do I know if I'd even want to convince him of that. So I don't... How can I help you? Give me some direction. What can I do to help you? I'll give you an idea. Mark, do you know a family law attorney we could talk to? I would say yes, I do. So that would be one way I could help you. But other than that, this is a product of your mistakes. You get it?
Okay, yes, I get it. It's our mistake. Okay. I understand
Eventually, you'll probably get him back if you're doing everything on the up and up. I realize it sucks right now. I feel bad for him, Suzanne, but I don't know what else to say. Maybe give him Bonnie Shields' number, you know?
I find it interesting they're all concerned about his mental health now, but what about when the mom was doing drugs a few years ago,
I don't want to beat up on him in that circumstance, but he is. The kid is a product of these two. That they don't think he should be going home now. They don't think the kid should be seeing the mother now. They simply don't think that. And who are we to say they should be? I mean, we don't know this circumstance. Daphne, chime in.
Yeah, I think that the child needs to stay until he's in a safe place, and they feel that he is safe to be able to go back.
I just don't think, you know, social services in general, you hear nightmare stories. My God, there's been certain social services where kids have died under the protection. In Philadelphia a long time ago, it was insane. There's all kinds of stuff like that. But in general, I would think these folks are really looking for the best interests of the child. I mean, it takes a certain person to get into social services. John, just chime in real quick on it.
Yeah, it's all you can really assume is that, you know, the people that are involved have the best interest of the child at heart, and as soon as the court and social services feel like that's a different situation, they're gonna change it. Yeah. I think that certainly these people could go in on an emergency basis and perhaps get a judge to, you know, allow something, but it's not something that a radio host can do.
No.
It's not something that, you know, and we wish them well. That's awesome that they're doing great for so long.
Yes.
But there are steps that have to be taken to get back to that situation.
It's not a unserious. In fact, it's extremely serious when the state comes in and takes your kids.
But there's never a circumstance where it's just like a light switch where you can just flip it and it all goes back and everything's all right and it never happened.
No.
That's going to be a long, long road to get back to normal, if there is such a thing.
And it's the child's health, and it's the child that is the most important piece here, no matter how much the parents are missing the child.
Suzanne, I'd give him Bonnie Shields' number. One thing Bonnie can do, I'm assuming they don't have any money, or very little money. Bonnie can give him how to get on the list to get a free family law attorney. I mean, that's what she can do, and she's done it before, and it's worked out. I've been very surprised how well it works out, actually. Okay, One Clear Choice Garage Doors. I am getting a price from these guys right now. I'm getting a steel building, which one of these days I'll talk about. It's like, John, if you ever buy a steel building, it's like used car salesmen out front smoking cigarettes, and, you know, it's just the... I digress. Anyhow, I'm going to buy the garage doors from One Clear Choice Doors. They're getting me a quote together today. But if you just need an opener, you need new garage doors. Let's say yours is now loud. You got that old belt-driven one. The rollers need to be replaced. They can do that. They can do all the service. They can do the tune-ups. If your garage has not been seen by someone for a tune-up in a long time, you should call these guys out. Right now, too, they'll do the LiftMaster, fully installed, for $333. It's got the battery backup, the time-to-close feature. It has the MyQ technology. It's a wonderful, wonderful unit. Installed, $333. Like I said, they'll also do full doors. They can do anything. If it's a garage door or an opener, they can do it. Commercial, residential, you get the idea. 303-565-6409, 303-565-6409, and of course, you can find them on our referral list at referrallist.com.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. A crash construction.
And you know, missing and everything.
Bad in what way?
What's that?
All over the place.
Did I knock out everything for you, Drew?
She wasn't. And did they mention, I didn't hear it, that the child went to the hospital because he threatened to kill himself?
Yeah, he kind of tried to get into that. That's a whole nother story, but
yeah, that's
to whom did the child threaten?
And
you know?
yeah, and they can actually, him being in that mental state, can put it back on the parents again. Well, you know what? He's this way because you messed.
The bottom line is the hospital is not in any way, shape, form, or fashion going to let you guys roll down the hall and go visit the kid. It ain't going to happen. They'll lock your hands out before.
Nor do we want to.
But they are so strict
no,
with
and
that.
they should be.
But they'll let you do
Yes,
it.
they should.
Get him the address. Take Dan with you. Take Dan with you and watch all the nuts.
Dan will measure your ass.
What does Tom say? The big ass? Whatever?
The big ass.
We should say the ass man.
The ass man. John the ass man. We get the license plate.
Yeah. Right, we are.
How did he figure out who the ass man was?
It was on a license plate.
No.
possible resolution.
Oh,
There's a picture in the office on his boat.
On his boat.
His boat was called Ass
That's
Man.
right. That's right.
It's going to be a proctologist.
Have you
They're the
ever-
funniest people.
Have you ever listened to a proctologist? If you're at a dinner party,
They're the
sit
best.
right next to him.
Which is probably true, because every story ends up like this. Doc, I don't know what happened. I fell.
It's 1,000,000 to 1.
It's 1,000,000 to 1, Doc. Ah.
Mornings 5 to 10. Here's one of my favorite quotes. Just because you don't take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you.
Senate holds hearing on.
See, I'll give you a really, I'm sure you said this before in Seinfeld. Who's the voice of Steinbrenner?
Oh, Larry David. And not only the voice, when you see him behind the desk, that's Larry. All right, 303-713-8255. Kyle, I'll come to you second. Tony's got kudos to a referral list member. Who is it, Tony?
Clear Choice Garage Doors.
Oh, I just did their commercial. I could have.
Yeah, I heard you.
I could have actually, like, built you into that commercial, and it would have been flawless, but it's too late, too bad. What'd you buy from them?
Well, what happened was I had an emergency. I got home and my garage door got stuck halfway.
Ooh.
And it was a Sunday, and yeah, they came out, and Donnie was the tech, and yeah, he was a really great guy, and they fixed what needed to be fixed, and it was, you know, it cost a little bit more because of a Sunday, but
yep.
Yeah, they were a really great company. So I just wanted to say thanks, and I appreciate what you guys do with the referral list.
Man, it is cool. People, I'm going to say this real quick. Thank you, by the way, Tony. The referral list, of course everybody's background checked. I don't care if you're Home Advisor, Angie's. Well, they claim they background check. Some of the problems we've had and callers that have been ripped off by people on their list or, well, anyhow. But everybody on our list signs what we call our Code of Ethics. It's exactly, or it's really called Addendum A, and they agree to it. And it's stuff about dealing with deposits. It's stuff that deals with, okay, if there is a problem, we can get involved and make the call. They all agree to our Code of Ethics. Now, I had someone on Facebook the other day. In fact, it's on a post that we have up right now from a guy in Colorado Springs. He put up, and I don't know where this perception comes from. He said, yeah, the referral list members are great. They're absolutely great, but they usually cost 20% higher. It's simply not true. I have no idea where that comes from. We have some of the cheapest places in town. We have some of the most expensive. It doesn't matter if it's HVAC or used cars or whatever. We have every walk of life on the referral list, and they all have one thing in common. They've signed our Code of Ethics, and we've background checked them. They're all great members. So no one else can say that. But don't be under the illusion that they cost more than anybody else. I say, you know what? Call up Wink and Wink. Wink and Wink's a bankruptcy company. It's a husband and wife team, Mike and Gigi. Shop them. If you're looking for a bankruptcy or have questions about bankruptcy, call them. Call other ones. I use them as an example, but call other people and see how much they are. I bet Mike and Gigi cost less, and they'll do a way better job. In fact, I know they will. I know them personally. They're great people, Mike and Gigi Wink. I use them as an example. You can find them, by the way, at winkandwink.com, or you can call them at 303-410-1720. They'll sit down with you. They'll figure out if bankruptcy is right for you. Maybe you want to save your house. Maybe you don't know if you can keep your car. You know, if you've been paying off these credit cards forever and you're never going to get out of it, or if you've got hospital bills, you call Mike and Gigi Wink. Winkandwink.com, 303-410-1720. Do you see that, John? See how I worked that whole thing? Are you amazed?
I'm just
You're
sitting over here
speechless.
amazed. You're just, what a professional.
You see this? I'm going to give courses to other talk show hosts.
As you should.
On how to build in stuff.
Why wouldn't you?
Here, give me a topic, any topic.
No, John, we have to go back to the office and work with him. Please, please.
Kyle, what's going on? You've got a problem with Cigna.
Yeah, so thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
So I'm going to try to make this quick because I know you guys like that. Me and my wife had a baby in January.
Okay.
He had some breathing problems, nothing major, nothing life-threatening, so we decided to go down the road of checking it out to make sure that it wasn't anything crazy. Did some preliminary stuff, and then the last step was a bronchial scope. We did that at Children's. Now, this whole time, we had been under the impression, because of the amount of time we spent at hospitals and stuff like that, that he'd be covered under our insurance. There was no issues. Then we get a letter or a call from HCA or a letter saying that he's not covered, and that's on May 25th.
Now, why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't the baby be covered though?
So what they said was they didn't receive some sort of piece of paper from us that they had sent us to the address that me and my wife have on file. The problem is that when we told them that, all of a sudden we started getting a lot of mail from them after we had told them that that's the correct address.
Man, I wish we had time to get Integra up, but we're going to call them for you. I always thought, and I could be wrong because Obamacare kind of changed the world, but I thought that you have like 90 days to add a baby or something. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Maybe out of that, because he was born on the 29th of January. Actually, it might be in there. It might be in the 90 days. All I know is that we never missed a payment. The insurance was accepted on the day of the procedure.
I'm going to get John Jones involved into this. I'm going to get. I got you. Listen, man, you're in good hands here. I'm going to put you. Suzanne's going to give you a number, but we're going to email him after the show. His name is John Jones. He's with the Integra Insurance Group, and there is not a smarter man in the world when it comes to health insurance. Why they're not paying it, if they can't pay it, he will know the answers. All right, Kyle? Let's get the answers, and I'm going to talk to him and you back on the air at some point so the rest of us can learn something. All right?
Thanks.
Hold tight. And then Brent, real quick. By the way, though, John Fuller Law, I appreciate you coming in today. It's always a pleasure seeing you, and I can't stress this enough to people. If you're in a car accident or if you've been in a car accident and someone hit you, it's a fault of somebody else, and you have any questions whatsoever, there is no other man I would call but John Fuller. In fact, John R. Fuller. Nope, you don't give that website anymore. I almost gave your old website. What is your website?
PersonalInjuryCO.com.
Oh, you can't beat that. PersonalInjuryCO.com. And then John's number is 303-597-4500. So, I mean, anybody that just calls with basic questions, you guys talk to them.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Yep.
And it's great, man. How long can someone wait? Let's say somebody was in an accident 6 months ago. They never called an attorney, but they're starting to go, my God, my back still hurts or whatever.
Well, you don't want to delay treatment for 6 months. I mean, that's
red
a no-brainer. That's a big red flag. But, you know, I really think the earlier you get a hold of somebody, the quicker you're going to understand what your rights are, and that's going to help you answer those questions about what you do.
After you talk to someone, I see another one of these commercials you see late night or during Oprah or Donahue. Talk about dating myself. Yeah, during Donahue. Yeah, shut up, Daff. They're all laughing at me because I said Donahue. Anyhow, I see these commercials that go, we'll tell you how much your case is worth. Is that something you can do, or is that all phony baloney?
It takes an exceptional set of circumstances before you can deliver a value like that just right out of the gates. But, hey, give me a call. We'll talk about it.
All right, sounds good. Listen, 303-597-4500. John Fuller, I've used him. Suzanne has. He got his policy limit. Simple as that. 303-597-4500. We've got a ton of stuff going on. We're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow.
Do you work?
Mark, God, I love you.
Oprah's at least still on. No, is she gone?
She's not on. Damn it. She owns a TV.
So we voted. You're going to be the ass man.
Here, let me have my pen.
Would that be good?
No.
Okay.
That'd be good.
John the ass man. Hey, look, it's the ass man.
So I'll tell you a story. We're off the air, right?
Yeah. Well, on Facebook, I'll take it.
Yeah, kill that.
Kill that.
Kill that.
Kill the audio.